All right, we're going live.
There we go.
Once
Tags
you
may
hit
or,
that go live, we are live.
tags may or may not have happened.
Oh, wonderful.
That's all right. That's all right. Do we ever do anything normal?
No.
No.
Not on purpose.
That wouldn't be our style. That is just totally not our style.
All right, you're going to bed.
Okay, thank you.
Somebody's going to bed early. So are we good to go?
Yes,
Sure,
sir.
let's go.
Hey, everybody. Dueling Aces get literally going to be on the road a couple of times over the next 3 days. And we've got our usual suspects in. Zolt's holding down the lockdown on the broadcast for us. Akers and I are literally been getting back to the houses. Mr. Burrich, as always,
What up, you
Demon
Akers?
sitting down there. Mr. Shrods, how you doing?
What's going on, gentlemen?
He's doing better than your connection.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Agreed.
Oh,
Why don't we
okay, there it goes.
Why don't we get this show on the road with the wonderful overtime games of the
Yeah,
NHL?
multiple.
Yeah.
You gotta love it.
I actually I got to confess, I was watching that Columbus game, and then all of a sudden flipped it over to the Indians game. And next thing I know, on the bottom of the scroller, it said fourth overtime. I said, "Well, I think I'm going to watch the rest of that one instead."
Yeah, it's not too often you see a 6-hour hockey game.
Oh hell no!
I
Best part
unfortunately
about-
could not watch it, so could
Best
only
part
do
about it was-
Gamecast.
The Carolina Hurricanes, when they posted that tweet and they said, "Hey, the Lightning and the Blue Jackets won't get off the ice." I'm sorry.
Oh, that
guess
was
who went to
hysterical.
overtime? But guess who went to overtime today?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
The Hurricanes and the Bruins.
Yeah.
And the NHL got them back with their own tweet, just something along the lines of, "Hey, if you want to get off the ice," I can't remember who was next. These two teams are ready to go.
At least they're having fun with it, you know.
Yes, well, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
at least they're all.
you have to. These
Yes.
times you have to have fun. Try to get as much fun in it as possible. Try to get as much trolling as possible. All in good fun.
Even the scoreboards in the arena there while they were playing, I wish I could remember exactly what they were showing, but it was like they would pop it up in the middle of the game. It would be like overtime again, or just things of that nature.
See, that's cool. I mean, at least
a lot of dots on the side of the scoreboard.
yeah.
Yeah.
At least the NHL is telling them have fun with it instead of just
Oh,
just
yeah.
being stick in the mud and everything.
Yep.
The
Yeah,
thing,
so at first-
go ahead.
But I was just going to say, you couldn't have asked for anything better than first round of the official playoffs. Now that the qualification round is over, first round of the playoffs, first game. Let's go 6 hours and turn it into a 5 overtime game.
Now the thing is, would you ever in your right mind think you would ever see a goalie get close to 100 saves in a game?
That's
It's
crazy.
insane. It's insane. You never think that.
I'm really curious how much weight that goalie lost during the game,
Oh hell.
because they lose weight in a basic regular game,
Mhm.
just sweating it out. But that had to have been insane.
It's like George sweating it out to see if we get kicked off of Facebook.
Yeah.
Why you even got to say it? Why-
Hey, you're in the control. You're not him.
Yeah, because my luck is so much better.
Well, and the question I have for everyone is, and I saw this question this morning. I didn't really dig into it, but should they keep going in playoffs? Which I have my own opinion, but I want to hear everybody else's first. Should they just keep going sudden death overtimes, or should they go the route of shootout?
So I think my brother and I were actually talking about this when we saw Boston go to overtime, and this is a really unique situation because they're all playing at the same damn rink too. But one of the things I think would be interesting is you start off overtime, the first overtime, and you play 5v5, and then when the second overtime starts, it's 4v4, and by the time you hit the third one, if nobody's won, you go 3v3, just like they do during the regular season. I think that'd be, if you can't score 3v3 for another 2 or 3 overtimes, then get off the damn ice.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that idea
Take that
much
after the
better
first
than going to the
one, that should be
shootout.
the goalies. Take the goalies out now. I bet you'll see a lot of defense.
It would definitely get interesting
See,
and probably quick.
I don't mind. I don't mind going to sudden death. Go because the shootout is part of regular season. Do you really want to? My thing is, do you really want to end a playoff game on a shootout?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know,
that was the thing when they introduced it in the regular season. It was specifically for the regular season. We don't
Right.
want to do this for the playoffs, and for that reason, you don't want to have one player. The team with the most skilled one particular player wins.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's not the sport.
I think, that's a hell of a way for hockey to start off the playoffs too. I mean, everybody's watching it, but I haven't seen the ratings at all. But I would assume the first week and a half of hockey, I would assume their ratings were higher than they think they might have been.
Yeah, I have not seen ratings yet either. So if anybody wants to do that quick Google search, let's figure this out because it should be good and it should be really damn good for last night.
What was the seating last night?
Tampa
Bay was 2? No.
I know
Gonna make me go back to my old notes.
Washington and the Islanders were 3 versus 6. I think were they 4 and 5?
That makes it even better.
They were 2-7.
Okay.
Tampa Bay was 2. Columbus was 7.
And then Columbus lost last night, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Or this morning, I should say. And get down. See, I mean, that right there, that's the way like playoffs should kind of be. You're putting the teams in there, they're fighting for everything that's on the table. Overtime is what it should go to.
Yep.
Just 5? Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, we've changed a lot to get to this point, just to get to the point where we're playing to finish the season. Let's not change something core to playoff hockey, which sudden death overtime is core to playoff hockey. I mean, you hate being in it, but you love watching it. And
Right?
this is exactly what the sport needs.
I've always said that a playoff game in a World Series, if it's game 7, all games are playing their heart out. If it's 1-1, 10th inning, sudden death stuff going on. I mean, that's intensity. You don't ever get to see it. Or it's 0-0, bases loaded with 2 outs, full count. I mean, everything is just right there. It went from, you're kidding me, game's on the line, 0-0, and it's what it's happened to me. I was talking to George about it today. Was the shootouts like it used to be, where you put the one-on-one to see you with the first 5 on the goalie and stuff like that. And then we're going back with, like you said earlier, well, the team with the best shooters 99% of the time is going to end up winning the shootout, and it's not right because it does go to that. And if you're the team that has the most experienced shooters, that's what's going to happen, and I like how it went to sudden death where they keep letting it play out until someone wins the game. And that's the way it kind of should be. Because this is where you're going to find out where your reserves is really what's going to win the game for you because they're the most full of energy to be able to play.
Yep. Hockey's always been about who's got the best team, not who's got the best top line.
Yep.
So I just saw this paragraph. It was actually from yesterday. Chicago Sun-Times. NBC Sports announced Tuesday, so yesterday.
Yes, sir.
That TV ratings for the qualifying round were up 39% over their regular season average, with an average of 553,000 viewers, despite many games taking place daytime and or weekdays and being blacked out in favor of the local markets. So 39% is excellent for hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very curious what it's going to be for round one of the playoffs because, in that you're not quite doing apples to oranges, but, you're talking a qualifying round compared to a regular season slate. So it's not quite the same thing. Plus, let's face it, people are dying for sports. So, yeah, they definitely want to watch. So, like I said, I'm curious round one playoffs versus round one playoffs last year.
My thing is, didn't we read that they were going to do a whole bunch of different TV angles and all that stuff?
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like they haven't.
No, I don't know exactly.
It doesn't bother me.
No, I mean the sport is what the sport is. I mean they know how to broadcast it, obviously. So I'm not terribly sure. I haven't seen what they were talking about, at least not yet. And maybe it's just one of those things where it just blends in, so we don't see it.
Yeah.
I'm reading this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I was reading a similar article. It actually included the NBA and the MLB too. And since the first week, the NBA is really kind of fallen off the ledge with their ratings. I think part of it is the other two sports started up too. So, they're going kind of full force. Actually, MLB is weak on both. It's saying they're weak on both Fox and ESPN, but they're doing actually better on their local networks than prior to last year. For the NHL, though, 6 of the top 10 ratings came after the August 1st restart so far. This article, though, was before the playoffs started, so I don't know how the first few games have rated so far. I'll see if I can find that.
They just started the playoffs last night, right? So
yeah,
yesterday. So it'll be interesting though.
So who's been following on ESPN or basketball? Since we jumped to basketball real quick.
Not me.
All right, so good. Suds is not here. He's our NBA guy.
Yeah, he's our NBA.
Well, this is what I'm going to say to you because, I was just talking to George about it. I looked at it this morning because basketball is not usually one topic I'll usually follow. So I thought I was talking to George about it, and he says, maybe we'll talk about it tonight. So thinking about last year and this year, if you know what's going on, give me the top 5 teams in the West Coast that you guys think is top basketball teams.
What do you mean by West Coast?
West Coast,
Western Conference?
Or the Western Conference?
Yeah.
The top 5?
Yeah.
In basketball?
In basketball, without looking at ESPN. If you know
who we feel they are or who they actually are.
Who you think they are?
I mean, number one's probably got to be the Lakers now that LeBron's out there. I would say Golden State's probably up there. The Houston Rockets are probably up there. San Antonio.
I say Dallas. And
Utah. I know Utah Spurs are having, or Utah Jazz were having a really good year this year too.
Clippers are always good there too.
Yeah.
Have we named the entire conference yet?
Well, you said 5. That's half the conference right there.
Right? I was going to see what you guys would say. So the number 1 seed right now is the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, which I thought was in the top 5, was to be the Clippers. Now here's where it gets a little weird. Number 3 is Denver. 4 is Houston.
Yeah.
5, Oklahoma. 6, Utah. 7 is Dallas. An 8 seed is being played out right now, which is the Portland Trailblazers, which they have. The 8 seed is not locked in yet, which is between.
They've been on fire.
And San Antonio. Yes, Portland's been on fire because of Lillard. 51 points one game, 61 points last night. Yeah. The guy has just been on me. That's why I actually jumped on this morning and started reading a little bit about it. But one of the teams, like we said, that was not in there is Golden State.
They're not even down there.
They're actually in last place in the whole league.
Well, part of that's because half their team hasn't played all year.
And that's what I was. That's what I was asking George, and I said, "What happened to Curry? Where's Draymond? Thompson." I said, "The top 3 guys who've won rings for the last 5 times they've been there, they're in last place."
Yeah, Durant. Obviously, Durant moved, and then I think Curry was out for. I don't even know if he came back.
I was talking to somebody he's a basketball guy. I was talking to somebody today about it. He said Curry was actually out the first portion of the season.
Yeah, I knew that. I just didn't know if he came back.
15 wins before the COVID break.
Yeah.
They played 65 games, and they got 15 wins.
I think the Cavs had more than them.
The Cavs had 19.
Everybody had more than that.
Yeah.
The
Everybody.
tank was on.
I mean, but it was like I'm thinking, I'm like, what? I mean, that right there goes to tell you, taking out the key players of the game tells you what that team would do.
True. Not to change subject too, or to change kind of topics still with the ratings, but one of the things I thought was interesting, and maybe this just goes back to the whole, and we don't want to get into the political aspect of sports, but I'm reading right now, one of the highest rated sports events so far this year, since everything's came back, is actually the Champions League quarterfinal match between Barcelona and Napoli. It averaged 1.1 million viewers in the U.S., which is the most watched professional league match ever.
Suds with soccer, or Shrouds with soccer.
I thought it was interesting. You think about the NHL, and they said, NHL. What did you say, Ryan? It was like 500,000 or something like
553,000.
Yeah.
Which is outstanding for them.
Yeah.
Soccer is more popular than hockey.
But not necessarily in the U.S. Maybe it's growing, but like that shocked me. Like to have 1.1 average, 1.1 million average viewers. I thought that was very interesting.
Now to get back to hockey, Zoltan and Shrouds, I saw that the Rangers got the first pick. Were they deserving of it?
We don't want to talk about.
Were they that bad? I know, but I'm saying, were they that bad in the regular season too?
Nobody that made the qualifying round was that bad.
Basically, they got lucky in the draft.
Yeah.
The Wings got screwed again.
I'd have to pull the actual list up, but so Detroit's picking fourth. They finished the season with 39 points, if I remember right, or the season. Yeah. Every team picking around them, I believe, was above 60 points.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just it's the way the lottery is set up, and it's to discourage tanking, and I get it, but when you had one team that was the worst team in the league, and it was by far, and it was pretty obvious, and then you can pick fourth. Great.
Well, and the most frustrating part for the Wings too is the last 3 years, the way the lottery works, you have a worst case scenario and you have a best case scenario. So like this year for the Wings, puppy. For the
Leave
Wings,
the puppy.
Their best case scenario would have been to get the number one overall pick, and their worst case was fourth. They got fourth, and like the percent chance is stupid small. The last 3 or 4 years, the Wings have literally got the worst case scenario for their like percent chance of draft picks. So you just it's crazy. Like I don't disagree with Dave. I know like the purpose of the lottery is to discourage tanking. But at some point, like when you get screwed over year after year after year, like it's going to start to affect like the fan base. It's going to affect ticket sales. It's going to affect like the demeanor of the team. And you're basically killing your number one franchise, maybe arguably with Montreal and Toronto. But like, I don't know. It's the way hockey does it to me, I think is stupid. Like when you go year after year after year like that, there's got to be some sort of stipulation in there that corrects issues like that. Especially in the draft. And
like you're saying, we know it's to discourage tanking, and at the same time, you want parity in the league because you want every team to have an equal chance to make the playoffs. You want everybody in it, so every fan base is in it. And when crap like that keeps happening, not to sound like a homer, we're not Edmonton. We haven't had, 5 number one draft picks in 6 years or whatever. It's not like,
or Cleveland in the NBA. Same thing. They have like 3 of them in like 10 years.
Imagine if the first pick would have gone to Pittsburgh.
We
would have heard Dave's head explode from here.
I would not be here tonight.
Yeah.
I was even thinking about that on Monday. I'm like, I got to tell George, if Pittsburgh wins that lottery, I'm not going to be on that show Wednesday because I will be in
It's
no
going to be a
condition.
3-hour rant.
Now, was the Red Wings? Now you watch them. You Drew and Zolt, and
Go play.
do you guys think they were tanking or no?
No, they just
No.
suck.
Okay,
I mean, it's
I
like
don't. I haven't watched them at all this year, so I didn't know. If
It's-
They were bad.
doing it on purpose or not.
well, I mean, it depends how you want to look at it. I mean, do you consider tanking bringing up like half to 2/3 of your top minor league team and playing them? But at
Yeah.
the same time, those were probably the most talented players on the roster. So
Yeah.
the roster is bad. There's talent there, but it's talent that's probably like 3 years away from even showing what it's capable of. So it's a young team. You don't know what they have yet. It would be really nice to throw some more pieces into it.
Yeah, I think the other thing with the Wings too, I mean, there's really two things that kind of screwed them over. One was the whole salary cap. Like once the NHL went to the salary cap, the Wings were the Yankees of the NHL, and that kind of really ruined them. And the second was their success. I mean, they made the playoffs 25 years in a row, and I think it was 22 or 23 years in a row. They only had one pick in the top 10 for that long. I mean, you think about 2 decades of not having a top 10 draft pick, and you still won 4 cups. You made the playoffs 25 years in a row. Like at some point we knew it was coming and it was going to be rough. We're there now. So, I mean, hopefully.
Who knows it's going to be this rough?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I mean, I've had the conversation with a few people. It's like, how long is this going to be? And this was a couple of years ago at least. And my response was, a rebuild in hockey is 4 to 5 years if everything goes right.
Unless you're the Pittsburgh Penguins and get 2
that's
legacy
right.
number 1 overall
Instead,
picks
don't bring
handed
up
to
the
you.
Penguins.
So let's face it, the way things have been going, it's not going right. I mean, like I said, there's talent there. It's just the talent can't be on an island. You have to get other pieces. You have to continuously bring talent in. And it's just, we're just not quite getting the pieces I think that we need, at least not yet.
Now, what Schrod's actually described with the Red Wings, always picking low in the draft and winning 4 cups and always being in the playoffs. Who's that sound like in the NFL? New
Patriots.
England Patriots. Exactly. Always picking low, always picking the last, few picks in the first round.
I think the one big difference there, though, is free agency. The Patriots are always able to go out and kind of sign that big free agent. And unfortunately, the Wings just aren't there anymore. I mean, I think it started with, was it Zach Parise and who was the other guy that went to Minnesota over the Wings?
Yep.
I can't remember his.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, from there, like, if you think about in the past, I mean, Brendan Shanahan, Brett Hull, Luke Robitaille. I mean, you're talking like Hall of Fame type players that came to play for the Wings. The 2002 team was just freaking ridiculous. I think they had like 10 or 11 Hall of Famers on it. They just, unfortunately, in this day and age, like they're not that premier destination for those free agents anymore. So it's like I said, it's we had 25, 26 years of dominance, and now we're paying for it.
Does the Little Caesars guy still own it, or his family? I should say, because I know he passed away.
Yeah, his family still owns it.
Yeah.
So, yes.
The funny part is it's always funny because they always fly in. They have their own plane because it always has the Tiger and the Red Wings on the back of it. It's funny because they're the only team when they were playing the Indians to fly into the little Burke Lakefront Airport over here in Cleveland. Everybody else flies the big international Hopkins. But it's funny because you see them landing, but then when you're driving around, you see the big plane sitting right there off the highway. It's like, hey, Detroit's in town.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to see that, they're playing like that. So, but I digress.
And didn't I see something about Pittsburgh firing 3 of their coaches today?
No, I don't know.
You may be more clued in than me, which is, I mean, it's possible.
Future reference, you need to get closer to the mic so we can hear you.
What'd you say?
Yeah.
Oh, step away from the mic.
It's my big mic.
I got it right here, G. Okay, they let go assistant coaches Sergey John Scher, Jacques Martin, and Mark Ricci.
Mark Reed.
Mark Rickey. Mark Rickey?
Mark
Ricky.
Recchi.
Or Rickey?
Ricci,
Wow.
yeah.
He played
A
for
lot of-
Pittsburgh for a long time, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Team announced Wednesday would
Philly?
not renew the contracts of those 3 assistants.
Wow.
Well, I mean, you've got high profile players on that squad, and you got bounced before you made it to the
Yeah.
playoffs.
Yeah.
So right here,
That's what happens.
Move came less than a week after the 5th seed Penguins fell to the 12th seed Canadians in 4 most lifeless games.
They looked flat the whole time. I watched a couple of those games. They just looked.
Yeah.
They looked tired. Actually, is what they did. You know, they looked very tired and didn't even look like they wanted to be there either.
I think they're about 2 or 3 years behind where the Wings are now, or ahead of, I guess, if you want to look at it that way, of where the Wings are now. I mean, I think Crosby and Malkin probably have another handful, if even that, of good years left, and that team's going to be going through a pretty significant rebuilding phase too. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm not surprised that they did fire the coaches, because they have a very limited amount of time left to get the most out of those 2 guys.
Window is closing.
Yeah.
Message to our fans, speaking from the GM's perspective, we are not rebuilding, we are retooling.
That's rebuilding.
That's
Don't give me that
rebuilding.
bullshit. That's rebuilding. Don't give me that
Yeah.
bullshit.
We are in the process of conducting a review in our organization because we have underperformed in the pit playoffs the last few years.
We've heard that saying from the Indians how many damn years?
Mhm.
Almost every
Not
team.
used. It's just previously owned.
Going back to Mark Recchi, he actually played 22 years in the league, 10 for Philly, 7 for Pittsburgh, 5 for Montreal, 3 for Boston, and 1 each for Carolina, Atlanta, and Tampa Bay.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
You got around.
Yep.
That's what he said.
That's right. That's right. Speaking of teams that are always have excuses, I was ripping on the Tigers earlier, but as of 2:00 this afternoon, I don't know if I actually need to see if they won or lost, but they were
They
the
lost.
number 1 team in the. Oh, did they? I don't know if they fell then, but
They
were the number
one.
number 1 team in the wild card race as of I think it was 2, or I don't know, before they played today, which I thought was interesting. So we'll see how the rest of the season goes. But
Well, they're
As
still
of
in second
standing
place with
right
only 1
now,
game
they are
back.
number 1 seed for the wild card.
Well, no. Here's what they're doing. They're actually taking the first place team from each division.
Mhm.
Then there's also taking the second place team from each division, and then they have 1 wild card team.
oh, really? I didn't know
Yes,
that.
I just saw. It was weird. I didn't know
Yeah.
that either until
Right now to be the Indians.
yes, because I saw. I think when they were on Fox or it was on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. They were on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, and they showed us standings. They said the first and second place teams in each division make the playoffs, and there's 1 wild card. I did not know that at all.
Is that just for this year, or is that something
Yes.
moving forward?
Yeah.
It's just for this year.
It would have
Got
to
it.
be.
Now, unlike I think they're going to stick with the DH. I think overall, though, I think that may stay.
That move, I being a pitcher, I love that move. Yeah, that's too far long coming. You know, we should have had that 20 years ago.
You're talking about the
Yeah.
NL?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Well, and so
Most
this,
pitchers are batting what 170 to 210. That's an automatic out, pretty much.
Yeah, they said it was 186 last year.
but then
Yeah,
you had,
it's
you had that,
ridiculous.
then you had the Atlanta Braves, who every damn pitcher can hit, and they actually pinch hit them all the time, and actually made them put them in as runners for slow guys. I saw Bobby Cox do that all the time with his pitchers. But here's my question with Major League Baseball: what the hell are they going to do with the Cardinals?
Yeah, now they're missing 11 games
Oh
or 10
my
games.
God.
17 games.
They're done.
17 games they have missed so far. They've
I don't know
only
how you-
played 5.
I don't know how you can include them even if they come back and make up half those games.
Hey,
How can you include them in anything?
Here's the funny thing though.
Well, they played 5 and the average is about 17, so they're missing about 12 games.
Right.
No, they're missing
No, they're missing
17
17
games.
They missed
We've
17
already
games.
counted
Already.
it. They're not playing until Friday, maybe against the White Sox.
Oh, so
We've
it's been
already played
extended.
14
It's
games,
already been
20
extended,
games. We're in 20
Okay,
games
so
now.
I didn't know that it was been extended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say, here you go. Keep that theory. Let's say St. Louis plays 2 games. Let's say they play tomorrow. They win both of them. They're first place in their division.
Statistically.
Because I also heard that they were going
Statistically.
I also heard they were going to go. If a lot of these teams were not going to be able to play some of their games because of COVID, they were going to go by winning percentage.
And they can't.
If they go,
Should
5
win the
and 2.
first game and then
Uh,
person on the team
Walk away.
100%.
Yeah.
Florida Marlins at 7-4. What is 636 percentage over Atlanta Braves, who played
but they
19
haven't
games
played
for
all their
579.
games.
But they haven't played all
They
theirs.
haven't played all their
They're
games
also
either.
week behind.
Marlins are the other team that is a problem because they have not played all theirs either because of COVID.
And
So
to
they
be
have
honest,
a lot to make up too.
going with switching to like going off the winning percentage in and of itself complicated and okay, but the biggest problem to me isn't switching to that. It's the fact that you are changing what you need to get into the playoffs mid-season.
Yeah.
And you did not invoke the taxi squad, which is what it was there for.
Yeah,
But
let's go back to that.
No. Wait.
Why you had the taxi squad? It's set up, and that's what they're not doing.
Here's my argument.
Have
on
the
that.
taxi squad just play each other and call it a fucking day.
Here's the flip side of that. Why would you, if you had all these breakout of COVID-19, why would you bring these guys up and get them having a chance to get it after 2 or 3 days of being up and being around those guys?
But they're not going to be around those guys. All
But
those
if they're in
guys,
if they're in the clubhouse, even though
No,
they're
they
trying,
weren't there.
no, wait. If they're trying, even though they're trying to clean it, it didn't matter because all of a sudden, two guys got COVID. Okay, but then 3 days later, 3 other guys tested positive. So it was coming up 3 or 4 or 5 days before or later when people weren't getting symptoms. So it was coming later and later and later. I think that's why they didn't do it.
But the thing is when they say about how long the COVID is actually in as far as on surfaces after just several hours, once you turn around and blow through a hazmat crew goes in and cleans out your clubhouse, and after the 3 days, you should have had the taxi squad in there playing.
But here's the thing, like I said, when they first announced their,
but that's why they put that protocol into play.
I know, I agree. But if they,
no, I'm saying the clubhouse protocol.
oh yeah, no, I know. But I'm just saying
it's a wipe down and nobody's allowed in for 3 days.
But say first day 2 guys got tested positive. Then 6 days later, after these guys didn't have symptoms for the first couple of days, but then all of a sudden started getting symptoms, and all of a sudden you bring up these other taxi guys, taxi squad guys, after before these guys tested positive, but so they could get the
That's
virus.
why the team that is not, let's say Cubs, for instance, get going by that scenario, somebody in there gets COVID, that entire team is now quarantined. You test and then bring up the taxi squad and replace that entire team.
Now that point I agree with. I'm not. I'm thinking you guys are saying just bring up a couple at a time.
No, I would replace the entire team up and down.
I would agree with that.
I mean, you got 30 players sitting there.
Yeah.
You have an entire team sitting there.
That point I agree with. You can just bring them all up at once. I'm talking about if you bring up 2 guys here and 2 guys here.
No.
We're talking the whole team.
The whole kit and caboodle.
Right.
You have coaches, you have players, you have everybody getting ready.
The whole team could have went to Atlanta and played.
Yeah.
The whole taxi squad team could have went to Atlanta to play.
Both taxi squads play each other.
I thought
play each other.
I was looking at it as a couple here, a couple here.
No.
I wasn't looking at it as just replacing the whole team.
No,
That point I agree with. That I can totally agree with that. But if you're just bringing up a couple guys, it defeats the purpose.
No.
If all of a sudden a couple days later,
you're just risking everybody else.
Yeah.
You close. once it's been identified, you clean out that clubhouse. You don't let anybody in there for 2 or 3 days, and then you let the taxi squad play for however many days.
Now I do have to give it to the NHL, because in that same article about the ratings, they've had over 19,000 tests, 0
Yep.
positive tests.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. The NBA is the same way.
I believe so. Yes.
Yep.
Shocker.
And then, and if you read, MLB was saying, well, maybe we'll do playoffs in a bubble. Well, now you're gonna think about doing a goddamn bubble? Yeah,
Well, hang on. Why should MLB start thinking about playoffs now? I mean, it's only August. I mean, they got a couple months yet before they should be thinking about playoffs.
But the thing is,
Talking about playoffs.
well, knowing how Major League Baseball screwed up with the Toronto situation, them doing it 40 games before the end of the season, I'm kind of happy they're thinking about it now. You know, with Toronto, they waited 3 weeks before the damn season started to give their plan to the Canadian. Oh, it was 3 weeks before the season. Yeah, and they gave their plan
a
to the
week
Canadian,
before it was finalized.
Yeah, which NHL gave them like in April, so they had time to dissect it, make some recommendations, maybe change this, change that. Okay, but Major League Baseball waited to the last damn minute to try to give them a plan. They said, try to push a plan, and Canadian government said, no, we don't want it. So it's a change for Major League Baseball to start thinking 40 games before it happens instead of
Right.
10 days, 10 games before it happens,
Good segue, Ryan, because guess what I happen to have for you all?
That
It's a
bubble?
baseball stadium.
Here's the new baseball stadium in Buffalo.
Yep.
With the nice upgrades from the Toronto Blue Jays organization. This is a quick little snippet video of some really nice stuff that they
They
did.
really frosted the windows. Get out of here.
Yep.
Buffalo Blue Jays.
They did a really nice job on it.
Is it Blue J.A. or is it?
And they had to pour a ton of money into that to do all that painting and all that.
Yeah, they said they dropped a few $1 million in on this bad boy
Really?
to do it.
Holy Christ.
And here's one even better. For the visitors, locker room plus the outdoor lighting for the extra lighting for this stadium, they pulled it from the Field of Dreams game that was supposed to happen this summer in Iowa and brought it all over here for them to utilize.
6 feet apart.
which was a good move on Major League
But yet,
Baseball's part.
if you notice, the sinks are not okay. They do have.
Yeah, they're
They have
covered
the
up.
covers over them.
They do have it covered.
Mhm.
I like how they actually put some of the signs in French,
Did they?
just
Yeah, they did.
like Toronto would.
Yeah.
The Canadian flag.
To make them feel at home. That's not a bad idea.
It's
Well,
a
is it
little
really?
tiny touch.
Here's the thing, though, to make them feel like at home, are they really Canadian French? I mean, I know that
No.
section is Canadian French, but are the players Canadian French?
No, but at the same time,
No.
if you
Why
see
is
it
it not-
constantly, it's to make it feel like your home stadium. And if you're
Yeah.
constantly seeing it in Toronto, well, might as well see it in Buffalo.
I actually
In that
gotta
case,
applaud-
are any of them American?
Oh, I know that voice from
Oh, wait a minute.
What I do like about Major League Baseball is them putting those awnings and everything in the stands so the players can sit in there. I think that's
Yeah.
kind of cool to do that,
Yeah, like I said, those lights came from the Field of Dreams setup. As I was reading through that article for this, and I said that was a really cool idea that they were able to do that.
Yeah. That's sweet.
What is this?
I saw a game there a long time ago.
I mean, like I said, they literally brought or shipped in everything
Yeah.
from Toronto.
Well, I mean, yeah, they got the room to do it. You can put them in, underneath the, even in the walkways where the concession stands are at. You can put stuff there because there's no one there.
Thought you were answering me.
Who the hell is Dodger Foreman?
I don't
I
know.
don't know. He's a friend.
Yeah, we got an admirer.
Whose friend?
I don't know.
Never heard of him. Hi, Dodger Foreman. Welcome to the
Welcome.
show.
Welcome to the show.
You prick.
Well, hello to everybody else. Barry, Clint, Michael
Jason.
Johnson.
Yep, Jason. What's happening? This is just going over the quick setup that they've got for the Toronto Blue Jays and their counterparts that they'll play against over there in Buffalo. Yeah.
Here's your desk and chair.
Yeah,
exactly.
Theirs was
bare
like metal desk
basics, and everything's outside.
Yeah, it's in a tent. I mean, but at least they've got some similar stuff. Like I said, I mean, it is what it is. What you can deal with,
Yep.
you know, literally last minute.
Yeah,
You know, to spend a few $1,000s and then you know you turn around and you're done.
Along with all that.
You know. But I thought that was pretty nicely done. I mean, they spent a little bit of money and said, okay, what else can we do?
I just leave it
Hi,
and
son.
get new and get new stuff
Hello.
for the regular stadium.
Acres is still on?
Yeah.
F you, Akers.
No, I just
We,
find out he's usually.
we never did it. It's like almost 9 o'clock. We haven't done it.
Actually, I think I did it pre-show, but when he was in the car, I said F you, Acres. So
No, when
technically-
Sorry,
George
Doug.
announced us, I said "F you, Acres."
Birch got it too. It's just we're going around the whole team tonight.
Excellent. Suck it, Suds.
hey, it's
Hey, it's like the old saying: "Take it." What is it?
what the hell was that?
Oh, Suds being.
Doesn't
This
his
is
slurper.
Slurpee.
It's like take a
He
bottle.
told me to suck it. Sorry?
You know the old saying: "Take a bottle, drink it down, pass it around." That's what we're passing around. F you, Acres.
So if we're still talking baseball, I want to bring a topic up, but I want the Cleveland guys to address it since it's your pitchers.
Oh,
Oh.
The elephant in the room. Yeah.
You're about to be muted, by the way. Just an FYI.
No.
no.
Nope. We can
No, that's
we can talk about that
It's
elephant.
a good
Sure.
thing. I'm so clueless. I don't know what they want done.
The thing that gets me is Clevenger a week and a half ago saying everybody needs to do their part, this, that, and everything, and then he goes out and Plesac. Here's the story. Plesac is from Chicago area, so he was pitching that night, and he met I guess a whole bunch of his friends were outside the stadium at a bar or something watching the game. So he met up with them and went out for a drink. And I guess all of a sudden Clevenger came out too. But the thing was, they knew about Plesac. Clevenger never said anything. Went to the team meetings, went on a team flight and everything, and then all of a sudden got caught.
It wasn't until he got caught that he said something.
And it was like a day or two after it happened.
Dude.
That's where the bullshit happened.
No.
Yeah, that's horse shit.
Yeah, that's you should have mentioned something immediately as soon as you got back.
Are we having a Corona moment in Iowa? I take it.
No,
Well-
it's morally of containing them to see if they have it or not, because
Yeah.
they left the team. The actual ruling is that Zach Plesac has friends in Chicago and Clevenger was with him. They left the team and went to a place to meet up with some friends outside of Chicago hotel last weekend, thus risking the exposure of COVID-19 virus. Cleveland placed the two pitchers on restricted list after the right-handers broke the team
Yep.
rules and the major league protocol.
But as they should.
Yes,
Now, let
as they should.
Let
And
me
nothing aggravates me. It's not the best pitchers, but it is the top two, or at least the top three, we should say.
Well,
Clevenger
Clevenger's
won.
the ace.
no
Clevenger's the
Bieber.
ace.
No,
Bieber's
Bieber's the ace.
Bieber.
Bieber's
I
the
would
ace.
put Bieber as the
He's in
ace.
playoff right now, and
Yeah.
he's only pitched 3 times.
I put Carrasco number 2.
You know,
and then Clevenger 3.
Okay.
if you don't know who the ace is, it means you don't have one.
No, Bieber's your
Bieber's
ace.
clearly
he
the
don't play
ace.
Yeah.
baseball. He's all like hockey right now.
So let me read you the two paragraphs that Adam Plutko, who was the starting pitcher yesterday, who was replacing Clevenger. Here's his 2 paragraphs that it's I was shocked when I heard this because you don't really hear it doesn't matter what sport. You don't hear players come out and say this about their teammates.
Yes.
So he said they hurt us bad. They lied to us. They sat here in front of you guys and publicly said things that they didn't follow through on. It's going to be up to them. It really is. I'll let them sit here and tell you how they're going to earn their trust back. I don't need to put words in their mouths. The term that I continue to hear, and excuse my language, that's what he said. I don't really care. Is grown ass man. So those grown ass men can sit here and tell you guys what happened and tell you guys what they're going to do to fix it. I don't need to do that for them. That's a hell of a damn statement to come out from a teammate.
Yep.
Yeah, wasn't pulling any punches there.
Oh,
No.
hell
No,
no.
not at all.
Oh, and even Francona said, he goes, this one kind of hurts. We'll deal with it like we always do. Da 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 da. But he goes,
It's one thing if any other year you go out and you do something stupid.
right.
A lot of people do that, but you put everybody at risk by doing it.
They all know. Every player in Major League Baseball. Put it this way: every athlete that is playing right now in any major sports league knows the risk,
Yeah.
and they need to just stay in just so they can finish the season and get everything done.
You want to
So-
play, you want to get paid, then
Right.
sit your ass down and shut
And
up.
I think that's what football is actually going to do this. I think this.
Oh, can you just see somebody try to pull this shit from Belichick's camp?
Well, here the Players Association came out with this, not just teams or anything. The Players Association came out and said, listen, if you get coronavirus because you're at home with someone that got it, that is one thing. I mean, we can't really do anything about it. But if you go out to a bar or a casino or a strip club to get wings like what's his nuts did for the LA Clippers, dumbass. If you get it something like that, they said they would actually have them get fined or suspended because they were putting other players in risk.
At risk. Absolutely.
So that
Yeah.
was the NFLPA saying that, not teams or the NFL.
One of the
Bel-
things.
Putting it
And
back on
Belichick would just
George.
flat out cut you, and then you serve your fine and suspension with the NFL.
One of the things they're talking about too, and I know they've talked about this in some of the other leagues, but specifically in the NFL that I saw was like a narc line. Like literally players can
Oh, wow.
anonymously call in and basically rat out other people. I just think that'll
yeah.
be an absolute shit show.
Yeah.
They did that in basketball.
I was going to say the
I
NBA. set
like
that
it.
Yeah.
I like
Did
it.
they?
Yeah.
You would like
I'd be on the fucking dude. If
I saw
if
LeBron
I'm
James.
LeBron James. Yep.
LeBron James is out there doing this.
He's not going to
I
be.
think
Patrick Mahomes is out there doing this.
there's actually a story about someone narking on Jimmy Butler. They were in their hotel room, and he was actually bouncing the basketball, practicing, trying to get like just in shape, in his room. They thought that he brought up someone to his room, and they were banging the headboard. So they called security. Security went up there, opened the door, and he's like, "What are you guys doing here?" He goes, "Well, someone said you were having some loud noises up here." He goes, "I'm dribbling a goddamn basketball." So they thought he brought someone in secretly and was putting a notch on the bedboard.
Jesus.
Nice.
I hate cheese eaters.
Good times. Good times.
That's funny.
Hey, listen, if you could get an advantage, we're about to hit the playoffs here in the NBA. If you could get one person one day off or one day where they can't make it's worth it. Hell, Westbrook right now is going to miss some games in the first round of the playoffs with the quadricep. Imagine if he gets the coronavirus and he has to miss the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Boy, that's going to change
I'll
the
be right
whole.
back, guys.
You don't make it to the second round.
Yeah, you get yourself knocked out without Westbrook. You're in big trouble over there with Houston.
But the thing is, just stay in your whole. I saw a clip today with the Islanders and the who are they playing? Oh, they were playing Capitals. They actually the Islanders have the whole floor of the hotel to themselves. So over by the you've seen big hotels where you go up to a certain floor and right in front of the elevators or in the middle of the floor there's a huge area gathering and all that stuff. They actually put a ping pong table in the middle of it, and they actually had a tournament. They had brackets written down and everything where they had a tournament going in on their floor. If they're all doing their part to stay on their floor, I have no problems, with that at all. But George must have because he walked away.
I think we lost Suds.
Sorry, I'm
Yeah, I
doing
think
my
he's-
Baker's impersonation.
I actually think we lost. I think we lost
Suds is
Suds.
taking a long draw on that Slurpee.
It's gonna get a
Brain freeze.
Brain freeze.
Just one more point. Going back to the Indians and MLB. It not enough that you snuck out with your buddy, and not enough that you then didn't tell anybody. Correct me if I'm wrong. You guys have, is it Carlos Carrasco?
Yeah.
Yep, who had leukemia last year.
Yeah.
And they brought that up too. They said, listen,
Yeah.
this guy had leukemia last year and he's not opting out. So if you're going to put him, you're putting not only yourself out at risk, but you're putting someone who has leukemia, had leukemia, to risk. That's ballsy.
That's
Sorry, Golden Acres.
What's that? Golden Acres.
That's funny.
But so if we can go, but we'll go back to the NBA real quick and just so apparently somebody thought somebody had snuck a person up to the room. Did I read right that now they're going to let them bring people into the bubble?
Suds, you want to answer that one?
I don't know. There you
Yes, I think they said it was going to be. They have to prove that they were, for a lack of a better term, legitimate family, I guess.
Yeah.
But then they were going to have to get tested for a couple days, and then they were going to be able to come in. But they've had that plan put in place for a long time.
Most of the time. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of them
Just
will
like
do it
I think
anyways.
hockey's the same way. Weren't they supposed to conference finals? They were going to let family.
I
come in or something
haven't
like that?
heard. It's definitely possible. I know they did say something about them meeting back up and exactly how that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Don't
see.
you think that would be a mistake, though? Especially in the NBA when we're about to enter the playoffs. Now is not the time to be testing the waters.
You're
You're going to end up. You get the virus. The wrong person gets the virus right now and has to sit out weeks. You just screwed your playoffs.
I was going to say you
LeBron
just
James
hit the whole bubble.
You just blew the whole bubble. You lose LeBron James. You lose Davis. You lose Westbrook. You lose Harden. What? Listen, they just
all on the West Coast or West.
had they
West
had they not lost their balls. What's his name? Ugandis.
Yep.
He should be suspended right now for multiple games. You throw a
Is he just one?
headbutt. He
Yep.
just got one
He
game,
is.
the last game, which means diddly shit.
Yeah.
We're talking about 2-game suspension from when I was reading this morning about it. but
Yeah, well, he got one
It's
game,
one.
Was it one?
and that's the last game of the season. They already got their spot locked up. It meant absolutely nothing outside of the fine and a game check loss.
Well,
Uh,
look
it
at
means-
this. I saw a story today about how the Cincinnati Reds were going to probably be the first team in Major League Baseball to have fans in the stands. They actually put a plan to the city of Cincinnati and to Hamilton County. Now they're waiting on the governor of Ohio to approve it, and they were thinking about putting. Well, I know that.
Yeah.
I'm
they were-
sorry.
No, that's okay. But
Is he out of quarantine yet?
it was a false positive.
It was a
False
false positive.
positive. He
He
called
didn't want to meet up with Trump.
Right. Boss
That's
calls
exactly what it is.
called in sick. Yeah.
Trump's coming. Anyways, but no, they put a plan in about having 8,000 people at the games, which they said they could. I didn't read the whole plan. I don't think they put the whole plan out public, but they already got the city and the county approved the plan. So we'll see. But yeah, I agree with you. If you can't control it,
8,000 fans. Yeah, I can see that.
but if you can't control it in that bubble, why have a bubble then?
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
you're gonna
exactly.
let people in, that's the thing.
Well, the fans will be 6 feet away from the players. Bubble doesn't
The
affect
whole
them.
point of the bubbles to keep people out. and you're breaking it by letting the fans in. So you're breaking
But
the
you
bubble.
never know what that fan has.
Did they have coronavirus, syphilis? You know.
I mean, there's no way of us telling.
Black plague.
I mean, I think it
never know.
depends on how.
False positives.
I think it depends on though how they set it up. I mean, those players, even in today's state, or I would say maybe not today, but even in prior states, like, yeah, maybe the fans could get close, but I mean, there's so much security, and I think the way they'll set it up, like, I bet you, in some cases, they may not even open the lower level. Like those fans that are coming into the stadiums, their asses are going right to the 300 levels, and
Or outfield.
you're talking 6 feet. They won't be 100 feet within the players.
Oh
So
yeah,
Yeah.
easy.
I'm sure they'll, if they're really truly thinking about it, like they already have a plan in place to limit proximity as much as they possibly can. And I mean, those players drive right in, drive right out of the stadiums. I mean, there shouldn't be any issue with that. So
Yeah.
But the question would be is how to stop them from bum rushing onto the field.
just put a bunch of
They're
armed
playing
guards
in
around the
Ohio.
outside.
That's why
What are they going to win?
No. I got the answer.
Yeah.
I got the answer. Electric fence like cows. They have it on farms for cows. Put them all around. Imagine see that. All of a sudden you're seeing a pitch. All of a sudden you see a guy in the background.
I'll take you one better, Birch. Birch, I got you one better. Every fan has to put a collar on when they come in, and there's an invisible fence.
You got the
You got.
Hold on.
I lost.
There'd be
Rod's
alcohol
got me.
involved.
Rod's got me.
But the best
I
part
admit
is
defeat.
the best part is you tell them they can't be in the first 6 rows and you put it like row 8.
But if you look at some of those Korean games, and they're allowing fans back. They're little by little they're allowing some of those. I'm on break at 7:00 in the morning, and TV at break room has ESPN on it, so I get to watch some of those games. They're starting to have more and more fans there. So, but I mean they're like 5 seats apart from each other, So, but it'll be interesting. But yeah, if you set up a bubble, like Sud says, if you set up a bubble, why are you going to break it?
And speaking of the bubbles, a lot of the NFL teams have actually started. I saw that they've started actually
Up to the bubble.
bubble hotel rooms with all of the players. And right now they've had, it was 6 or 7 teams actually have had nobody test positive on the COVID. And as far as the NFL's positive rate, it is under a 1%. And the Bengals actually just had to place Ross, the wide receiver, on the COVID list just recently here. So,
But that wasn't for a positive test for him. It was a positive test for his son or his kid and his kid's mom. So he actually had to leave the team to go take care of the kid.
Oh man, that sounds like a Sudbury there.
Yeah, it was baby
No.
mama.
Wait, I'm negative, but they're positive. Wait a minute.
What had happened was
Where'd the baby mama get it from?
it's
That's the question that should be asked. That bitch.
well, I mean, hello, if she's the only one going out to the grocery store, I mean, go touch the grocery cart, boom.
Sure, the milkman just happens to be putting that on the shelf.
The way I read it, and again,
It's
this
called
could
the
be
delivery man. Thank you.
I could be completely off base. The way I read it is that they're not together anymore. But that was just the way I read it. So I could be completely off base. Sorry to spoil the jokes.
hey, 50-50 chance.
There isn't a whole lot listed on the article either on it. So.
Yeah.
Let me ask this question. What if, by any chance in the NFL, the city of Boston or Massachusetts says, no, you can't play tackle football. You can't touch each other. You gotta stay 6 feet apart. Does that mean they just have to move out or does that mean Patriots lose their season?
No,
Or do they have to go to a different state?
They'll be like Toronto Blue Jays, go
was gonna
somewhere
say
else. And play.
Yep, they'll go
Yeah.
elsewhere. They'll be going elsewhere. There's going to be no.
Use a college stadium somewhere probably.
They'll go someplace. Yep. Hey,
No,
Iowa,
Yeah.
the Dakotas are looking pretty darn empty right now, and they've got stadiums.
Hey, but hey, if you look though on the restrictions from the state of Ohio, the number one state, they said if you go to this state, you have to quarantine yourself for 14 days.
New York?
Idaho.
Oh, Idaho.
Idaho. For some
Oh no,
weird
Johnson, is that true?
for some
Idaho.
weird reason, Idaho had a spike of what 50
Oh, he's
cases.
in Iowa.
I don't know, but they said it's like, I actually heard the governor break it down and says if you go to Idaho, you have a like 18% chance of catching it.
So what are they
Florida,
doing?
New York,
New York, Florida
Texas,
was one.
Georgia,
Arizona was another one. New York is
Arizona,
not.
yeah, Arizona, California.
Yeah.
I can think of
I was
multiple
gonna say.
more states than Idaho.
I was gonna say right now, New York is actually one of the strictest as far as travel and where you can come from and where you can't.
What are their
Yeah.
rules on the coronavirus?
Actually, my mother-in-law is actually coming into town from New York, so she's coming in. They actually had Ohio on the restriction list. If you went to Ohio and came back to New York, you had to quarantine yourself for 14 days. But they just took Ohio off a couple days ago.
Yep.
Regardless of the coronavirus, I do that to Ohio.
Yeah. Same thing with Canada. But anyways.
Do that to Florida.
But no, so yeah, they were very, very strict right away, but they're allowing more travel now. But yeah, they just took Ohio off.
Yeah, they took Ohio off. They took Rhode Island off. I can't remember who they added on, and it's all they've got a formula that they're using. It's like percentage increase in cases over the last 10 days or something like that.
I think Ohio's doing the same thing. It has the same percentage or wacky whatever.
Yeah, there's a formula there somewhere.
At the beginning, did any of your states have like law enforcement checkpoints? I know in Rhode Island, not by the Mass border, but down by the Connecticut border, they actually had freaking like police like convoys basically just waiting for out-of-state license plates to come through, and they were pulling people over, basically asking for reasons of why they were coming into the state. I don't know if it was any like that in the Midwest too.
No,
I haven't heard anything.
Didn't see
like
it.
That. Yeah.
We've been trying to keep the people out of our state for a long time. They just keep on coming in.
Actually, one of my neighbors is a officer, not an officer, but he's one of those guys that you check into every month. You have to check into
Probation officer.
He's a probation officer. He says they have so much other crap going on right now. They weren't going to try to stop people for the stay-at-home order. They weren't going to cite you for being stay-at-home unless you were doing something illegally beyond that. But he says
just did 18 years in a 10 where you couldn't go nowhere. What's 2 weeks at home?
Yeah.
So, but he was saying that if like say they weren't just going to pull you over just because you were out, so
yeah.
Right.
The crazy part here is, I mean, the state's so damn small. I mean, you could literally drive across it in 45 minutes. I mean, Southwest or like the Tri-County area in Detroit's bigger than Rhode Island. So like, I mean,
Right.
Oh, you're in Rhode Island?
yeah, that's where I
Oh,
live in
God,
Rhode
yeah.
Island. So I mean,
Mike Johnston says, not out here in Missouri and Iowa, wild, wild west.
but I mean, honestly, it was like at one point it was almost kind of like a military state where like they legit had like basically checkpoints. Like what are those like drunk driving checkpoints or whatever they call them? They had freaking COVID checkpoints. It was It was insane. They got rid of it real quick because people are getting pissed.
funny.
But like
They're setting up safety violations around here. They're putting big signs up around here saying that too, that they're supposed to start putting lasers out for speedings, but there's no way it's going to pass. It's been rejected over the years, and over the years it's been put on the ballot. But that's something I think that's what they're trying to do. I'm not sure because in Lorain County, there's like 6 or 7 of them I've seen. Safety violations area.
Oh, we have those all over the state here. Those things are stupid, but
that's on Route 2 because we have so many damn accidents every 5 days on Route 2 that they're doing a corridor where it's like a safety corridor so they can stop the damn accidents there. So
yeah, there's
That's
actually
on 254 is where everybody doesn't know how to get on or off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
there's
right, let's talk some
literally
sports.
true.
But no, go ahead.
Big Ten, college football.
Wow, let's go with that big mammoth of a.
Are we good to transition, George?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
We're good. We're flowing like a river.
I don't even know where we're at this
The
point. Dave,
funny part is I love going back and forth with all these different sports, so it's kind of cool.
True.
Like
So
I said, we've never been organized.
That's what it is.
Last time I checked, I think it was it still just the Pac-10 and the Big Ten that were moving to the spring?
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, postponed until future notice. So, I mean, they're not even saying whether it would be spring. I mean, spring can technically for them mean January 1st if they want. But
Yeah, they changed their mind again.
I saw
it's postponed.
The Big 12 came out earlier today, I think, and basically reconfirmed their full schedule. So it looks like they're moving forward. And then SEC and ACC, I think we're saying that to TBD, but their leaders are meeting this week, so more to come on them.
I don't think they're going to change anything just because they weren't the ones that came out with a schedule that said they were starting in like 3 weeks. So they're not starting until end of September anyway. So
if they're just going all conference games, then
I mean they have leeway. So why would they make any kind of decision now? And to be perfectly honest, that's the thing I'm disappointed with in the Big Ten is why didn't you just push things back? If you're that concerned, I completely understand not wanting to play, but just you had the extra weeks in there.
Yeah.
Just push it back. You didn't have to make the call right now.
Yeah.
I think part of and Dave, I think you said last week, like you would have loved to have been a fly in the wall, but I mean, my conspiracy theory here is that I think what they're banking on, if they push it to the spring, by that point, maybe the stadiums will be opened back up and they'll actually be able to get the fans in and tickets.
I'm 100% behind you on that.
Yeah, I can see that.
I would not doubt that at all.
That's the only way they can make money.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I mean, they're making money off of TV.
Yeah.
realize
the conferences, split the TV money all, between the teams, so they're still making a little bit of money.
realize that some of those teams have their own TV networks and whole setup. The ACC shares it amongst themselves. Notre Dame, they collect their own money. Alabama collects their own money. Do you take that into account? On top, think about this: the teams that are going to stick around, they're going to get put on TV.
Yeah.
They're going to get some deals. They're going to make some cash. Yeah, Big Ten might push it back till April, and maybe they get some fans in the seats. But these teams that stick around, they're going to get some major cash because everybody's going to tune in.
That is an interesting concept, though, because if you think about like the OG network in college was the Big Ten network. I mean, they were like the original kind of. I mean, obviously you have Notre Dame with their own individual contract, but they were always through NBC. Big Ten created their own network, and football literally is the network. Like, there's other sports that are played, but I mean, that's all. Who watches that crap? Like nobody, to be honest. So I'll be really interested to see what happens with the Big Ten network just in general, and a lot of those like networks. I mean, I think at this point, all the major conferences have their own networks. So like the Pac-10 network, like if between that and the Big Ten, like what happens to those actual like TV networks? Do they go out of business? Like, because they're going to lose a crap ton of money in sponsorship if they don't have a season at all. And their fiscal years for 2020 are going to look like garbage because
there will be football played in Texas. I promise you that.
Don't disagree with Texas, but like I'm saying, like the Big Ten network, just in general, like there is no football, at least as of now this year.
There won't be anything. They may show bowling, but we're gonna get used to seeing all these schools, that nobody's really bothered watching before because they're gonna be the only ones on TV.
Excellent. Well, here's my thing. You get the Pac-12, the Big Ten saying nope, they're done. You got Big 12 saying yes, they're in. Last week I saw SEC saying that they were going to play and they were going to see if other teams if their conferences were canceled, wanted to come play. I think ACC is going to play only because they're having Notre Dame playing it, and they'll get a big boost from everybody watching them.
Yeah, they actually get a share of Notre Dame's money.
Right. So ACC is going to say, no, we got Notre Dame now. We're going to play. My thing is, how are these colleges, if they, like Nebraska came out and said they want to play, how are they going to be able to opt out of their conference and be able to play in these other conferences?
Well, who violated the contract then? Because it sounds like you're denying them the right to play football. So aren't you the one opting out? You're the one to say you can't play. You can't play right now. You can't play this season. Therefore, you're the one violating the contract. They want to play. You're telling them they can't.
But
you're the one violating the contract.
They're represented as part of the day, like their coach, like each of the teams or colleges in the Big Ten. We can use them for an example. They all sat at the table and they had a vote. So technically, they agreed, even though Nebraska technically didn't, but they basically signed a contract with the Big Ten saying we're part of your conference.
Yes.
We'll adhere to your rules. They sat at the table as part of that decision. And so.
But your rules only apply if you play football.
Definitely made him tag.
Not necessarily.
None.
Depends on how the contract is written.
It was all college. It was the presidents of all the universities.
Yeah.
It wasn't,
the snowflakes. Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see who tries to jump ship to play. Because that it's going to be, I mean, and then imagine imagine a Nebraska jumps ships and then goes back to the Big 12 where they used to be at,
Yep.
Then all of a sudden next year they said, okay, everything's fine. We want to go back to the Big 10. Will the Big 10 let them come back?
I don't know if they'll be able to financially. I think there would be so big of a fine for Nebraska to leave the Big Ten that it financially. I mean, what was the team that?
Here's your answer right here.
It might have been West Virginia or one of those guys that when they left their conference, they had like millions of dollars worth of fines.
Oh yeah, I think it was West Virginia. Them or Texas A&M or some one of them. I think it was West Virginia.
Oh, that's an interesting quote right there, right where your cursor is. The conference would own Nebraska's TV rights.
So even if they play, the conference is going to get money.
The Big Ten would get Nebraska's TV share.
No.
So that is very, very interesting. So even if so you want to go play football, here's
another thing too. A lot of people are taking a look at. It's like Nebraska, for an example, wanting to play. You get the SEC saying they're still might be going with their schedule. You got the Big 12 putting up their schedule saying they're going to play. What's it going to do about the kids that are at like Ohio State, Michigan State? Can they leave that school and go to another school? Because by ruling, they have to sit a year and go to another school. Technically, they're not losing nothing. They go to another school to play for their school.
Well, no, because you have to do that by a certain date, and right now they'd already be starting.
Yeah, they're past the transfer.
They're past that. The thing is that the NCAA is extending the eligibility one full year.
Which
that would be that's a perfect reason why they did it right now, was to cancel it so kids couldn't transfer to schools that would allow them to play. That's why I believe they waited to the last minute.
That rule is a whole nother show upon itself.
Yeah, that exactly. the transfer rule is a whole other show.
That is a whole nother show. I mean, you can go 2 hours on that.
I'd like to leave that Pandora's box alone.
I think the bigger question, I mean, obviously, like the rule is going to be huge, but the bigger question becomes the whole eligibility piece. I was actually reading more about that today. What is that going to do to the next 5 years of college sport or college football? I mean, you're talking about a whole class of having an extra year of eligibility. I mean, kids that are freshmen in high school right now could be freaking screwed because you got 6-year seniors now basically that are going to be on the team that could be taking the spots. So like number one, it could balance out college football. You could have a lot of people that maybe were going to go to Alabama, but now because there's other players that are there, they're going to smaller schools. Or you could have a lot of top tier talent that are sitting on the bench for a very long time. I think it's going to really change the layout of especially college football for the next 4 or 5 years.
And
Mike
that's the
Johnston.
kids that go to the college. You know, I mean, that's one of the problems we're having with today is we're getting the number 1 quarterback, the number 2 quarterback signing with Alabama, where why both of you are choosing the same school because only one of you is going to start. So it's not so much the big schools going after them, what they're offering these kids. It's these kids need to make the right decision on going somewhere and stop choosing the college just because they think they want to go see the big game, and choose the college where they know they're going to play. You know,
but on the flip side of that is
Ryan Ruassa that did the same thing. He went to a smaller school because he knew that he could play.
Yeah.
These guys could do the same thing.
But on
Go
the
to a
flip
smaller
side of
school
that,
if you know, play.
flip side of that, Mike, is, hey, best man plays. Beat me out to see who plays.
Yeah.
The other thing I'd argue too, I think there was an ESPN document on this too. Like, part of the reason why these kids pick the Alabama or the LSU and even know they're not going to start is, even if they're not starting and they go to Alabama and LSU, the entire coaching staff there knows all the people in the NFL and basically will tell them like, hey, like, even though this kid's not starting, he's still a top tier talent. I mean, I don't have an example off the top of my head, but I mean, I know for a fact there's tons and tons of players from those two teams alone, probably throw Clemson, Ohio State, Michigan, like that maybe weren't starters that are still getting drafted. In some cases, maybe I'm trying to remember the guy from Alabama. I know he wasn't a starter, but he went in the first round, like, and wasn't a starter. So like, I think it's kind of a give and take, like your top players. And I mean, you're only talking a handful of colleges too. I mean, you start talking about your Nebraskas or your Iowas and things like that. That's not going to happen. But like Alabama, that's why those kids choose that school, is because Nick Saban's going to get you to the NFL, whether you're starting or not.
You put the name on there is going to put that
question. Mike Johnston already even posted up here. How can WWE and UFC and hockey play with no cases, the most contacted sports, but yep, we're shutting down football? Already saw a 4-star recruit committed to OSU has now decommitted.
I mean, WWE's had cases.
Yeah. That's why Apollo Crews was out for 2 weeks. And it wasn't the fact that Bobby Lashley hurt him. It was that Crews turned around and was
tested positive.
And they needed a storyline to keep him out of there.
Well, Shrod, to your point, the reason why they pick Alabama and all these places like that is because they run them like they're NFL teams. That's why they pick them. That's why they go to those schools, because Nick Saban runs, Alabama like NFL. LSU is runs it like it's NFL. I mean, you got all these players that are probably a good, 75% of them that are starters, or second teams are going to play in the NFL. So you're playing or practicing against people that are probably a good chance of going to NFL. So I think that's why they also pick those schools too.
We have to also look at the thousands of kids who will be not being able to play football this year as seniors and losing the ability to even get into the college at this point. I mean, usually your biggest year comes your senior year, where you probably stand out the most, where the colleges look at you the most. You look at last year, if you're a junior, okay, maybe you stood out, but how much tape is really on you at that point in time? And these kids aren't going to be able to play. What are the colleges going to do? They're going to have open tryouts for these guys and hope they pick the right people to come in. They end up screwing themselves.
I think that's a great point. And then on top of that, like, they will have the extra year of eligibility in most cases.
High schoolers.
No, but the high schoolers won't have anywhere to go.
But that's what I was saying earlier. Like, it's gonna, not just next year, but you're talking 4 or 5 years, because that's gonna keep stacking on it. Because those players that would have been seniors this year are still gonna be there next year, and the juniors are gonna be there for another 2 years, and so on and so forth. So that's gonna cascade all the way down to your redshirt freshmen.
And you also have to look at what kind of shape are they going to be in, because they haven't played for almost a year. Are they still going to be that 4-star recruit or a 5-star recruit? They probably dropped down to a 2-star or a 3-star because they haven't used their legs, they haven't used their throwing ability, or whatever the case may be.
Muscle memory.
Well, MJ brought up extending it 1 year means players have to come back and pay for another year, at least the players not on scholarship. LOL.
That's a whole different shit show.
That's
Well,
a,
yeah.
I was just gonna say that's a whole other.
Yep.
level.
We could put that in the show with the transfer
With the
rule.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But here's the other kicker on this: Pac-10, not Pac-10. I always call it the Pac-10. The Pac-12. Not only did they suspend or postpone fall sports, they said they postponed all sports for the calendar 2020 season. So there's no basketball being played either until
Right.
2021.
Until at least January.
Yeah. So that now they're getting into basketball.
They
That's
already screwed us with the tournament this year. So
yeah, and the NCAA wants their money back off of that, not having an NCAA tournament. So if they I bet you anybody they're going to look back at it and say, okay, maybe we were wrong on the basketball. We'll have
Suds brought up a really good point too. I mean, we're talking college and pros, but like, what about the high school kids? Like, I mean, I know in the state of Michigan right now, I don't think they're potentially looking at playing in the fall, or
No,
even
they're
if they
As-
do, like, who the hell knows what it'll look
First
like.
of all, it's not. First of all, they haven't made this decision yet. Clarkson is currently going to school. Period, Monday through Friday. Right now, as we speak, the reason I was not here is because I was at football practice. Standing right across from us was late.
Oh no! Oh, no. Damn it!
I was going to ask him if he pulled a hammy.
When he comes back, I gotta
What?
tell him I used to like Suds, but now we're mortal enemies because I went to Macomb, Dakota, and Dakota and Clarkston do not see eye to eye. So I'll get him when he comes back. But I mean, I think even like here in the Northeast, like it's kind of up in the air right now.
There he is.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Yep, you're back.
Pull the acres again.
Ah, damn it. But
this cannot happen Saturday. I'm telling you.
what? Listen, we just got rid of our
Oh God.
Shit.
There he goes.
Anybody got?
I know when I get kicked off, I get kicked off for a long time. He's getting back on faster than I do.
He's got a lot of practice.
So anyways, I guess we're
he's not losing next.
yeah. What I was trying to kind of hint at was like I think and Suds brings up a really good point. Like in the Northeast, the high schoolers may not play at all. In
Am I
Michigan,
back?
maybe
Is this a recording?
It's a deja vu.
there he goes. I think he just.
Oh, that was close.
I,
I actually okay. Sorry. Here in Ohio,
While we were talking about that,
here in Ohio, it's their Ohio high school said athletics association said they want to have a season, but it's up to like City of Lorraine. They canceled all their sports for the fall, but some of the like Amherst, was just right next door to us in Lorraine, is still having sports. So right now, some of these bigger districts are starting to cancel their seasons, even though they're been told no, you still have your season. So it's right now it's more up to
it got updated.
guy I work with. His son goes to Lakewood. He plays for Lakewood football. They're going all virtual for the first quarter, but they're still able to play football.
Yeah, they updated it and said that OHSAA said it will be 6. The high schools will play 6 games and then it'll be playoffs. And it's like, well, take it for what it's worth. You're going to get 6 weeks of football.
And this actually gives them, that's actually a good decision because it gives them a couple more weeks to be isolated and probably start in middle of September and go all the way through October.
Yeah.
before I get kicked off again,
For November.
Kick them off, George.
don't kick me off. They're coming with the final decision as of August 20th on whether they're going to allow football at all.
Got
He
it.
said,
That's
if I were
still a
you,
lot of time.
if I I were you, Suds, I would just like stop and like pause and like try to hold myself for oh wait, no.
Yeah, Mike Johnson says all the teams will also make the playoffs too.
I did see that. Yeah.
Really, that's cool.
So
Yeah.
just
That pretty much so. And like I said, the governor is supposed to make his big announcement apparently on that ordeal too. So
Well, he was supposed to do that Tuesday, but he never did it.
yeah, but
He's checking to see if he's still got the corona.
It's in his fridge.
Michigan's governor is probably still in shock. She didn't get.
I hope she. I
selected
hope
as
she
the
gets the
VP.
corona. I hope Winless gets the corona.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
Her name is Whitmore, but her real name is Whitless.
oh,
true.
Birch, you brought up something, and I kind of want to tie off of it. You brought up the NCAA wants their March Madness money.
Yeah.
So speaking of the NCAA, where the hell are they?
Mark
If you've
Emmert
got
is underneath a rock right now because he doesn't
if
want to
you-
answer any damn questions.
That's it. I mean, you have individual conferences just deciding what the hell they're going to do
Yeah.
going forward. I'm sorry, you have a body that is supposed to be in charge of athletics for, the country, correct? Where are you? Why aren't you guiding these conferences in the slightest?
Because he's afraid. Because he wants to keep his position as the president of the NCAA. And if he slips up once, because last couple of years, he's been on the hot seat. If you look at some of the stuff he's pulled, he's been on the hot seat. So he doesn't want to ruffle any feathers right now because he wants to keep his job as the president.
I don't
So,
see
so
being
he's letting the monkeys run.
Yeah,
It's
I was
the
gonna say, I
inmates- the
don't
inmates
see
are running an
being,
asylum. That's what
I
it
don't
is.
see being
The way-
invisible as a way of keeping your job.
The
Well,
way the NCAA
yeah.
is written down, every school and every conference is their own entity. If they join, it's all under the NCAA. Yes, obviously they just quit.
No, I'm
group
just saying.
just quit.
No, I know, but
They're making decisions amongst themselves. They're
Yeah.
because they written down as separate entities. They're not considered. It's not considered a monopoly. If they become a monopoly, then they have to split up. Monopolies are illegal in the United States, and they would have to be split up. AKA WWE. What was it? Edison back in the 80s, where they all had to separate. AT&T had to be broken up. Ma Bell. They all had to be broken up because they're considered a monopoly. So they wrote at the NCAA rules in order to it not to be considered a monopoly. Therefore, they could all stick together and control football.
But I'll put it this way: if he came out and says we're not playing football this year, he is telling everybody you're not playing. So it's not really a monopoly.
Yeah, I think the issue there, Burrich, too, and I think you got it right from that perspective. If he says you're not playing,
You're
at this
done.
point, the SEC and the ACC, I think, say "F you NCAA, we're creating our own conference,"
And they go to court.
well, not even court. They basically just walk and say, "We
Yeah.
don't recognize the NCAA as a governing committee anymore.
Yeah.
We're creating our own collegiate committee. We're going to have our own national championship. We're going to have our own sports, and screw you."
And that would be a show.
Oh yeah.
I think the reason why, like, he has no right answer. He could say,
He
we're
doesn't.
not doing anything.
He
And
doesn't.
then the SEC, the Big 12, the ACC basically say, F you, yeah, we're still playing. Or he says, you are playing. And then the Big 10 and the Pac 12 say, screw you, we're not playing. So it's kind of like a lose-lose situation for him. And
Right.
I think maybe what he should have done is said, like, I'm going to let each individual conference
Bingo.
take basically medical advice from experts
Mm-hmm.
to come up with their own decision on what they want to do and actually have some sort of voice. Versus Dave, to your point, he literally just hasn't said anything. So maybe
Yeah,
that's where he went wrong.
And to come out
Yeah.
and maybe say, hey, we'll help the conferences any way we can with any data, advice, anything you want,
That's
but we'll let it up to the conference.
well, I mean, that's just it. If it seems to me from the statements that I've read that every conference has their own medical experts and has their own medical data that they're using. It's like surely the NCAA could collect that and distribute it
Oh,
to
yeah.
everybody, so everybody's working off the same stuff.
I don't know. I trust the University of Michigan medical team
Oh,
over maybe the NCAA team.
I agree, but at the same time, at least everybody can look at everything.
Same
Yeah.
data. That's true. Yeah. Consistent across the board.
I agree.
Transparency.
I think he's just so afraid to make a wrong move right now that
Right.
he's just shutting up.
The other thing I'd argue too, though, is if the freaking government of the United States can't do it, how do we expect the NCAA to?
There's that.
Yeah, with so many issues that he's been presiding over the last 5 or 6 years, with players being paid and stuff like that. You know, it's just he seems like he's always on the wrong side of those issues. And on this issue, he does not want to say a word because he wants to keep his job. To me, that's what it looks like.
And no matter what you say, you're gonna piss off somebody. So just keep quiet, and that way you keep everything the
Everybody
same.
off.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the best bet, though. You're gonna piss off half the country.
Yeah.
Either direction you're going to go.
Yeah.
So you stay
No,
quiet, and everybody's happy.
Not do all the time either, but
You
Well,
piss
and-
off the rednecks and the hard asses, or you piss off the snowflakes and the snowballs.
True.
So-
True. The other thing too is, I mean,
that's
these
all I gotta say.
What's that?
Yellow snow.
yellow snow.
Uh,
mean-
Don't eat the yellow snow.
And the biggest thing nowadays is like you have your Power Five conferences. They're almost like their own individual entities at this point, anyways. I mean, they don't even need the NCAA at this point. They have their own TV networks.
Yeah.
They don't need NCAA. They have basically their mega conferences. At this point, like they could literally just walk and be perfectly fine.
Well, wasn't it last year? Like a story came out said they were thinking about making their own, like
Oh
big,
yeah, that's
big
that's-
conference. Not big conference, but big. Another level of the NCAA.
Yeah,
Football.
Yep, they were basically just it was going to be the top 5 conferences, and maybe each of them brought on like an extra, like basically built up to 16 teams, and you had your 5 conferences, and that was it.
Yeah.
There was no NCAA anymore. That is the NCAA. So
Yeah.
I think he's so scared right now of all these things that potentially could basically just disintegrate the NCAA that he's toeing the line as best he can. And it's obviously, I think it's it's difficult for everybody right now, not just sports, but like just with COVID and all the other stuff that's going on, that like
Yeah.
anything he says could be perceived in a certain way. So he's probably being advised the best thing to do right now is not to say anything.
Shut up and stay in your basement.
Much, yeah.
Hey, it's working for Sleepy Joe. So
Ah.
But
Oh.
We got commercials here, George. I gotta pee.
drink time.
Bye.
Actually, that's not a bad segue. We could turn around and do that. And when we come back, we will turn around and tackle the fantasy football through the rest of the show.
yes, the meat and potatoes of this show. Reason why I'm even on tonight.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Doug.
Stay tuned.
Hey,
Hey,
I love
Doug,
you too,
Doug,
G.
Doug,
Yes.
pleasure doing business with
It was only 2.
I'm-
You put that out there, and it was only 2 spots. I'm like, what the hell? I'm game.
you. There you go.
I'll play the Piedmont this year.
Oh, Jesus.
Appreciate it. I
Yeah,
do
was gonna
appreciate it.
say,
Not a
Joey will
problem.
appreciate that big time. You guys go ahead. I'll run the commercials. You got 5.
All right.
Hey, Donnie, welcome to the show. We're going to run a couple of commercials and jump right back in. Really? Share computer sound. Detroit Auto Parts is a proud sponsor of this station. Save 10% off your order when you mention Redline Radio, serving 2 locations in Cleveland. The East Side, 480 East 200th Street. Phone number is 216-531-7373. And the West Side, 4941 Pearl Road. Phone number 216-398-7373. It is the home of the Detroit Auto Parts Studio. Helping Hands Moving Services. Phone numbers 216-682-6955. Ask for Dave or Jen and mention Redline Radio for 10% off your moving needs. Cater Printing for your custom screen print, embroidery, and promotional item needs. located at 9925 Royalton Road, Unit D, in North Royalton, Ohio. You can reach Amy at 440-668-1579 or check them out online, caterprinting.com. K&M Towing, 13011 Bel Air Road in Cleveland, Ohio. Phone numbers 216-252-2229. Tell James and Tom you heard about them on Red Line Radio. Hey, Mary. How are you? Looking for that NASCAR diecast? Pit Road Diecast has a large selection available. Call Bill at 216-355-2347. Mention Redline Radio and get $5 off your purchase. Lubrication Supply, located in Norwalk, Ohio. In the field or on the track, let us put you in the winner's circle. Contact Kevin or Jim at 330-813-2305. Tell them you heard it on Redline Radio. Wiggins Construction and Home Improvement. Bathrooms, kitchens, windows, doors, siding, roofing, and much more. Contact William Wiggins Jr. at 440-731-4654 or send him an email, wwiggins24@gmail.com. Tell him Redline Radio sent you. What's happening? That was a nice healthy break there.
Well, we're like, oh, good. We got it right here, right on time.
Well, perfect. You guys are getting the hang of this. Beautifully done. Can't complain. Mary just jumped in the room, said, hey, how's it going?
Mary's been on.
And sorry for everybody earlier on as I was handing off emergency host duties to Zolt. Thank you for holding down the link up there, sir. Appreciate
occasionally I can click buttons.
I think we should go to Suds next time.
No, we'd like to keep it.
God, no.
We get suspended for 2
Now
weeks.
that scares me for Saturday. I'm slightly concerned.
But why?
Bring your laptop.
Bring a list.
Don't
Go
throw
old
yourself in.
school like me. Bring a
I
list.
agree too.
Remember, when the 5-minute mark is up, you do not get the pick. It goes to the next person.
And just as a little reminder, this guy gets retired this year. This guy will be retired this year. There is a new award. There is a new award that will be presented Saturday. We'd like everybody to tune in. It will be revealed live.
Oh.
A special Dueling Aces, Semi-Aces Fantasy Football Draft Edition.
You're right, Zolt.
Doing pretty good.
Mr. Zolt is the proud recipient of this new award. And I really want Andrew to tune into this because
I was gonna say I think he has a word or two to say about it.
No, but I'm just saying Mr. Zolt has been given previous knowledge of the award because
yes, I have.
he and I actually had discussed about upgrading an award for our league there. So he is the only one who actually has been privy to it. I just know that this, well, Mr. Birch, you have, but I know that come Saturday, Dave is definitely going to probably rub this into Andrew pretty darn hard. I just have just a small, look at the smile on his face. It's like,
it'll be fine.
Dave, you just know.
I'm not going to give a spoiler out, but it's see-through.
You piqued my
That's
interest.
what she said.
It's on a window.
So yes, so our little monster gets retired, and the new award will be revealed at Suds's on Saturday. So looking forward to that, and we definitely want everybody to pop in for the draft on Saturday.
What time are you going to be over, George?
I'll give you a shout off air. I'll let you know what the whole rundown is.
Okay, because Denise is looking to take the kids to Orchard. So
Pick raspberries.
pick raspberries.
What kind of spread you're gonna have?
I'll make sure there's some extra money for cider.
Ooh.
I'll make sure I'm bringing some extra money for that.
Okay.
That would be awesome.
He'll let me know after we get off air.
Yeah. I'll let you know.
So what time are we? Do you want me to join in on?
I will shoot you the info of what time we're going to get everything rolling, Doug.
Huh?
So that way we'll be ready to rock and roll.
Okay.
I believe we just said something about 2:00 meeting at Suds's, and as far as the
About 2:30.
probably 2:30, between 2:30 and 3.
Okay.
I'd roughly say, but we'll be in touch so that
All right. Cool.
we'll go.
When we do this, I think you should go over the point systems. I think somebody's viewers are going to be a bit shocked on the points.
It's it's slightly away from standard.
I try to explain it to guys at work, and they go, stop.
Yeah, right.
Let me put it this way: 1 point for everything.
Oh my!
Well, I actually do have the upgraded, I should say, system and payouts as far as that goes, and here they are actually.
It's
Oh
hilarious.
wow!
Nice.
The regular season finish payouts will hold the same, and this will also be in case, for some weird reason, the NFL season is cut short. It will hold true to this form. Every placement will now get a payout. The Super Bowl payout, if there is no Super Bowl, the funds will roll over to the next year. As you guys can see what the payouts were. So the actual second place will now also.
Oh, okay.
And then the new payouts is the regular season. It's $20 per position. So the highest score of that position of the week of the season. So for example, if Mahomes had, 1,018 for week 4 and no other quarterback during the regular season could beat that score, then the person with Mahomes would get a $20 bonus. And
Wait, you got to add that line, because that's the greatest line there.
Yeah.
If you don't understand, ask. That is the greatest line right there.
Thank you. Thank you. So so there is a possibility that 6 different people could get an extra $20, which is.
George, just looking at this when you brought it up, as a guy who has a tendency to take simple things and make them as complicated as I possibly can, well done, sir.
Thanks. Thank you.
Actually, I can understand it. So that's
I mean,
Okay,
it's all there. It's
all
just
right.
It really.
What happens if there's, let's say, 2 kickers with the same score?
$10 a piece.
$10.
split it. Yeah, you split it.
Nope,
Yeah.
it's the first kicker who does it.
Ooh.
Nah,
No.
split that
No,
shit.
it will be split
Ooh.
because it's going to be for the highest.
I
So
hope
if
there's like
there's
3 kickers, so you have to like put quarters in there and all
Pennies.
that.
Pennies.
Yeah, thanks. I'll make sure I break into Bryce's pig pen.
Oh, we're on a coin shortage. You guys are gonna end up getting.
Yeah,
I got a
PayPal or Venmo.
no. I got Cherry Knoll water jugs over here full of quarters and pennies and nickels and everything. So don't you worry.
That's awesome. But yeah, like I said, I definitely wanted, I wasn't kidding when I said, guys, I'm doing a lot of work and trying to figure out how everything will run, including the NFL.com system itself for the fantasy football has given us COVID positions. So if your player is a player who is a discount,
Of course, this is only for Monopoly money because it might be illegal to be announcing it on gambling on live on air.
Well,
Yes.
we're on the internet, so fuck
I'm
it.
sorry, we're on the internet.
Doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
You
Really
can say
doesn't.
fuck. Hey, you can say
Yes,
fuck all you want.
Mid purposes
Anyways.
only.
As I was saying,
Here's number one.
we get 10 reserve spots available for COVID list players. So if there's a player that ends up on a COVID list, you have a reserve spot. This is outside of injured reserve. There's still the 2 injured reserved spots, and there are 10 extra reserved for COVID. NFL.com has turned around and already set that up and has given us that option.
All right. So before we do the fantasy thing, I want to ask this before we do it. We brought this up, I think, a couple months ago. The NFL said if there was not going to be any college games, they were going to actually play games on Saturday as well. How do you feel about that?
I mean, that's great.
Whatever.
So far, it's not an issue.
Yeah. Whatever.
And the Saturday games were later on in the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they were
Whatever.
talking about like the first week of the season.
Yeah, but I mean, you still have SEC, ACC, Big 12. So
If they play, I'm just saying
if they all cancel,
yeah.
why wouldn't you fill those
Sure.
slots?
Sure. Why not?
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah,
Line 'em
I
up.
that's
think it was
right.
Friday. I thought I saw
Thursday,
Friday on there too.
Tuesday.
It was Thursday, Saturday, Sunday.
Was it? Okay.
Whatever. They
was
do it
almost-
late in the season anyways. Let's just do it year round. Screw it. Move on.
I think it's great because you can just,
Yeah.
get NFL Saturday, you get it. But the thing is, I think that what I read a couple months ago was it won't be broadcasted as much on Saturday nationally, but it would be still broadcasted locally. So everybody in the local stations would be able to watch it.
I guess it depends on how many games they start showing. Like if they start stripping away like some of the key matchups, like on Sundays and like the primetime games and things like that, and they start stacking like and overlaying, like let's say there's 3 games in the early slot on Saturday. At that point, you're kind of missing out on maybe some opportunities for games and things like that. Maybe you're missing games, especially if your local game's on. So I guess it just depends on how they line them up and how they
All
go
right.
about like.
I have to be honest. I need football Monday through Sunday.
I don't disagree.
Every fucking cooking show there is on the air. Okay, there are competitions. I did something. I'm tired. Jesus Christ. I mean, I can't stand baseball.
You're all burned out of
Hockey,
the
I'm
marble
here.
racing.
Marvel is done. The Red Ball won. Congratulations. He's the champ. The Titan thing with The Rock. Stupid ass shit.
XFL,
I need football. Huh?
XFL
Hey.
and the Rock.
Hey, go for it. Put the damn thing on air, please.
But my thing is, I think they would only have to do you can only do 2 or 3 games on a Saturday and do the rest on Sunday.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't split it half and half because
No.
it would dilute it so bad.
Do the Saturday night thing where the Saturday afternoon, Saturday night thing that you
I don't mind that. One game on a Saturday afternoon. Do like you could flip
4-7.
Yeah, you could do one Saturday the 4:00 game would be West Coast and 7:00 or 8:00 game would be East Coast, and then the next week
Or 4-8. Yeah.
it would be 4:00 East Coast and 8:00 West Coast. I don't mind that at all. That's actually an interesting idea.
Can I honestly get you guys' opinion on, especially Andrew, what you thought about this? I mean, dude, what in the holy blue hell is with that hair?
At least he doesn't have a scarf on.
Is that a hat?
No, that's his hair. That is his hair.
So he came out to, I think it was yesterday, and basically said he doesn't plan on being in New England for that long, and I think there's a reason why.
Yeah.
You're pointing out the hair, but check out what's on his arms. What the fuck is that? Is he wearing women's jewelry?
Oh, those are bracelets.
I don't know what's
Cam Newton, so I wouldn't doubt it.
It looks like
On
beads, you
both
know,
arms, he's wearing women's
Yeah,
jewelry.
I mean, you're going to a photo shoot, and this is.
That's the other piece for the help top.
I mean, do you turn around and actually get the Queer Eye guys on here and go, "Hey, Cam, we need to work with you," or what? I mean,
I'm sorry.
damn.
That jersey is hideous.
Like I said, he doesn't have.
That's your problem. The jersey, the jewelry is not the problem. The hair is not the problem. The jersey
Oh,
is.
the hair's a problem for me.
Well, there's a problem. I mean, it doesn't. It just looks fake. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, if that's really him in an actual jersey and pants, the color scheme just doesn't go right.
I have no hair, so I don't really give a shit.
I'm jealous, so I mean,
Yes. Hello.
Listen, it looks like somebody was dropping a large stone on his head.
Someone gave him too many swirlies.
Like,
He doesn't plan on being in New England long. Well,
I got
that's a
news
good
for
way
you. I don't
to-
think they're going to let him be in New England
Jerseys
long.
look
Yeah.
over here.
good way to win over your coaching staff.
Him and Bill are just gonna clash.
Man bun.
Mary Clark
Oh,
does man bun.
man.
Adam says, "Suck it, suds, and fuck our fakers." Hello to the other gents. What's up,
Adam?
Adam? Oh my!
I'll drink to that.
Yeah,
Wow.
when those photos came out, I had to look at it because I thought it was fake too. I totally thought it was, photoshopped, and I'm looking, I'm going, okay, those aren't photoshopped.
If I'd been Bill
Looks like a-
Belichick, I'd say, okay, I'm only going to pay you $1 million, but I'll give you a signing bonus if you do something with the hair.
He's not even making $1 million on his base salary.
I'm just saying, give him an extra $1 million, but he's got to
Actually,
do
yeah,
something
he
with the hair.
is. It's a 1-3 base.
I thought it was like $500,000.
No, a 1-3 base with a 7.5 or 8 cap.
With incentives, yeah. Ugh. Oh well. All right.
One of his incentives should have been hairdos.
Hairdos. Yeah.
1.05.
Oh, 0.5. I thought it was 1-3.
See, when he first signed, it never really came out of what he was going to make.
I think it was right around $1 million. Which
Okay.
was honestly, it was the only reason why the Patriots went after him is because they only had about $1 million left in cap space. So
Yeah.
Now they have a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you notice that as soon as they signed his ass to that contract, they all of a sudden opened up all kinds of cap space. It wasn't that convenient.
at
Man,
the
Smart
time
people.
it was a smart move, but
The contract was based with a 1.05 million. And the minimum salary, but the league just $550,000 is money that is guaranteed.
Now, George, should we go over the schedule again like we did the one time? with
Adam
all these guys?
Wessinger looks like Cam got an electrical shock before a photo shoot. What the fuck?
With all these guys opting out, George, should we go over the schedule again?
yeah, predictions.
Woo!
Here's my question, just for Cam Newton's sake alone. When he was leaving the house, I know the guy has a woman. I know he's got kids. When he was leaving the house with that hairdo, did nobody say,
Nobody
hey,
said
probably not a good look?
Have you seen any of his post game interviews?
It's Cam
Yes.
Newton. That is exactly how he wants to look.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though.
That was a choice.
Like
Part of
that,
his
so
persona.
he gets what's going on now. He's
As
getting
a
the
way
ball.
of distracting from the fact that he can't throw a straight ball to a wide receiver 10 yards down the field.
But his look takes it away from that, though.
Right.
You played bad today, I know, but look how I look. Doesn't it look amazing? I mean, check this $1 million hat.
Whatever, dude.
Hey, don't let his hair distract you from the fact that Al Bundy scored 4 touchdowns against the rival.
At Polk High.
Yeah, that's right.
Looks like Cam got electrocuted
Ah.
for the photos.
Yeah, that's what I just read.
Wow.
Off the rails completely.
Is he going to blame the heavy hair for throwing 15 picks plus this year?
Can't even put a
Are you
helmet on
kidding?
there.
Are you kidding? That hair's gonna have a pick.
Oh,
Have a pick.
oh. Dude, that's the line of the night right there.
Oh, fantasy football.
Is the helmet even going to fit?
I don't know. I'm just curious how some of these players get their helmet to get on. I mean, they pull that thing out, and it's like Troy. What? Helmet hair? What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I used to wear a headband when I played football. And it was tough just to put it on over that.
I got big ears. I'll tell you what, it's hard to put a helmet on over these things.
Period. Yes.
I'd take a pad out just to get it on and click it in when I got it up in there.
And says the answer to your question is no, because there's also Facebook fantasy football leagues that list their stuff on their Facebook pages.
Financial, money wise.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
no.
But thank you for your concern.
Yeah.
Monopoly money.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's all Monopoly money.
Playing
Life
for
money.
M&Ms.
There
Life
you
money.
go. Now we're talking.
Oh.
Wait, or Skittles.
Skittles.
Oh,
Ah.
dangerous.
Oh.
Dangerous.
As long as we're not
All
dummies.
the W's and W's.
I don't mind either one of them. I don't like peanuts. I'd rather just have the regular milk chocolate.
Make sure you never put them together.
together. Actually, you know what? Chocolate and beer tastes really good.
As long as you're not fruiting the beer or marshmallowing cereal, I'm fine.
I've done it. I've done many experiments.
I'm not doubting that, but I'm still not gonna. Yeah.
Listen, the best thing I ever did was take a s'more instead of having just like a Hershey's bar. You take a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Ooh, I never done that. That sounds actually really good.
I don't know why we're
Try it.
Ooh,
It's delicious.
I might have to do that next week at the camper.
I'm about to say think about that one. I like Reese cups too.
Yeah.
Suds, you the man on that one.
I'm the fat man. That's who you should always go to the guy that asks the fat. Always ask the fat guy about food. He'll never steer you wrong.
Ooh,
It's life lessons on
Yep.
Dueling Aces.
Ask the fat guy where to go to eat. He'll make you starve.
Hey.
Right, George?
Oh.
I'm referring to myself.
Uh-huh.
I'm waiting
Sure.
for the mute. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Was actually trying to dig up. So far, the only the last page I saw, the Patriots had 8 guys on the opt-out. The Browns had 5, and then there were 8 teams with 3, then a few more behind them with 2, and then everybody else had just 1 guy on the opt-outs.
So it's not too bad of a hit.
Probably, and
But the Patriots obviously got the worst of it.
yeah, when I made the running joke about, somebody had mentioned, yeah, there's like 50 some players, and I turned around and made the smart aleck comment of, yeah, 40 of them suck. I wasn't off by much, because these guys some of them are the, second or thirds, but
Yeah.
some are
Well,
primary,
consider.
and they've got legitimate reasons.
Well,
Yeah.
consider this, George. The average NFL career is only about 6 years, right?
6 to 8.
So,
yeah.
so if you're a below average player in the first place, chances are you're not seeing that second contract. But if you pull a free $250,000 or $150,000 out of the NFL, then get to come back for you, because usually you get to run out your first contract, and then the second one they usually don't do it.
But all the contracts are extended. Everything is for the NFL.
Right. So they so that second tier player or third tier player just gave himself an extra couple $100,000 by opting out.
I don't think so, Suds, because I just looked it up. Players with 7 years or more experience will have a minimum salary of $1.05 million in 2020. Let's see. Up from 810. So these guys, I'm telling you, they're throwing away a couple $100 million, or not $100 million.
No, because their contract is being extended, so they'll get that money next year, and then they get the $250,000 for the COVID.
Right.
But it's a lot less than your contract.
Minimum salaries for players. Players with 1 year experience will earn a minimum of $585,000 in 2020.
That's it. That's it.
So you're throwing away, and you can't blame the people for not wanting to play. I understand completely, but that's
Do you ever
400.
consider they would make this team?
What?
What if they were getting
If
cut?
they made the team last year, why wouldn't and they were had some playing time? Why wouldn't they make the team?
Yeah, and Adam says most of them were all offensive. It's 4 offensive linemen, 1 defensive lineman for Cleveland's.
They probably weren't going to make it. Well, like Sosa, they probably weren't going to make the team anyway.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So
I'm talking about more like.
Well,
the
I don't know. I mean, like the couple from the Patriots, like Hightower and also didn't Gilbert also opt out too.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
was just
that's
gonna say.
I was going to ask Shraz, what are they saying? Since you're right there, what are they saying out there?
It depends on the team. I mean, I think for the Patriots, like a lot of the guys that are opting out, like they have multiple rings, so to them it's family. A lot of them have like newborns. A few of them actually have like newborns and like relatives or like parents that have serious illnesses. I think there's a combination on the Patriots of players that maybe probably weren't going to make the team, but then you also have like some of the best defensive players in the league. I mean, Hightower is going to be out.
Yeah.
Patrick Chung, who's their best safety, is probably going to be or is out. I mean, you also have wide receiver like Marquise Lee, who, I mean,
He just
Patriots
signed.
receivers are always up in the air. Well, exactly. He literally just signed and now he's
Yeah.
opted out. They're arguably their number 1 tight end, Matt Lacrosse. So like, it's kind of a combination. And then, I mean, you throw like a guy like a running back, Brandon Bolden. I mean, the guy may not have even seen the field. So,
Yeah.
I mean, Suds, I agree. Like to your point, like some of these guys maybe weren't going to make the team. So here's an opportunity to get payday. But then you got other guys like Hightower and Chung who would be making millions. I think though, I think they're not going to lose the money per se. Their contracts will still be extended, still make the money eventually, but they're losing out this year on getting that money. So it's kind of like
That's
pushing
what
it
I'm
back.
saying. If you potentially are not going to see another contract, and you can extend this contract an extra year and gain, what is it, $150,000 by sitting out? You're gaining just that.
Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
I was just going to say, it's like you've got your 2 different categories. You've got your high risk and you're just opting out. The high risk is $350, and yeah, everything you're saying is true. If you're not considered high risk, it's $150, and that money comes out of your contract for next year.
What the hell is that?
That's called his name is Bernie.
And it's Bernie. Everybody's dogs are popping.
Everybody knows Bernie.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Jesus, George, you got another bat around here.
God, he's bigger than Bat. The current list so far, the 49ers,
This is a bat.
Stop playing with your pussy.
There you go.
Oh, here we go.
It's after 10.
Yep, I was going to say, that's right. We're dueling aces after dark now. Sweet.
Mine bites. I can't play with it.
Adam Wissinger also said chocolate.
That's what she said.
Sorry.
That's what she said.
Adam says
We've gone off the rails.
I'm growing on you guys so much. I love it.
I'm glad we went straight to fantasy football after the break.
Yep, exactly. Chocolate bacon is amazing. Don't knock it. Try it. Chocolate covered bacon.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's delicious. My brother had it at his wedding.
Really?
He had a bacon bar.
Really?
I actually heard of people having a pretzel bar for their wedding.
He had a bacon bar.
Ooh.
A friend of ours had a taco bar. That was really nice.
Ooh, that's good too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't know there was 50 kinds of bacon until I went there.
my cousin had a candy bar where it was an entire small room just filled with things of candy.
Even better.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have left.
one of my friends said they went to a wedding where they had a pretzel bars. They had like a cheese like fountain and all that stuff with like all these different pretzels on. I'm like, oh, I wouldn't even care about who was getting married. I just want to go to pretzel bar.
It's going for the food.
Oh, so what part of the wedding you are? Oh, yeah, I'm part of the groom.
I know the pretzels.
How long have you known him? I think I just met him yesterday.
On the way in. I said hi on the way in the door.
Oh, so what brought you here?
The smell of the pretzels or the bacon.
The current rundown list, the 49ers have 3, Travis Benjamin, Sean Coleman, Jake Brendel, the center. The Bears have 2, Eddie Goldman, Jordan Lucas. The Bengals, just 2, Isaiah Prince and Josh Tupu. Another one.
Leave that to me, George.
Yep. Oh, Jesus, oh my gosh. I had to do this, right? The Bills, EJ Gaines, and Suds, it's all yours, dude. Look, Star
Lutululi. Lutali. Lutulali.
Looks like tuna to me.
That's actually a big one for the Bills too. I didn't realize he opted out.
What?
Let's call him Lottie.
How can you pronounce?
We're gonna call him Lottie.
What?
L-O-T, Lot. Got 2 E's, so we call it Lottie.
Oh, I couldn't make that one up if I tried. I was like, Sud, you're not going to believe this.
Lily? I think that's what it is.
At least it's a last name. You can pronounce the first name.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with anybody who's got a really bad last name. You really can't choose your last name.
True.
You know, your father's last name is your father's last name. But it's the people that get the fucked up first names that you cannot possibly pronounce. Someone has made this shit up. Please stop. Get a baby book, open it up, pick a page. You don't even have to look. You can just go like this and point. Just pick a fucking page.
Right.
Go with whatever's on there.
You mean can't play jacks on the keyboard no more?
Oh, jeez.
My God.
The Broncos have a pair. Moving on. Juwan James, Kyle Pico. The Browns we covered. The Bucks only have 1, an offensive tackle, Brad Seaton. The Cards have 1.
We need to have his ass eliminated.
The Chargers have none currently. The Chargers have 0.
Well, isn't there a certain date you had to opt out of?
I believe we have hit the date.
Right.
To get paid.
Yeah.
It was
Get paid.
last Thursday.
Yeah,
Thursday night.
we already hit the date.
Is the NFL like the Major League Baseball where they're allowed to opt out in the middle of the season or no?
No.
See, so these are the only guys you can't opt out now.
This is it.
That's it. That's it.
The Chiefs have 2 offensive linemen, Yang and Tardif, as well as Damian Williams is.
Damon, yeah.
I hope Antonio Brown comes back and gets the coronavirus right away.
Well, who's one of the linemen from the Chiefs that opted out because he was working at a extended care, and he said he'd rather do that than go play football.
The doctor?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was an Arizona Cardinal.
Yeah, it was
No,
Cardinal.
he was a Chief.
No, it was a
He
chief.
was Chief. He was a starting guard too, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's Tardif.
Yeah, that's what I
That's
thought.
Tardif.
Yeah,
Yeah.
God bless him. Good for him.
I agree.
Yeah. The Colts have 3, a couple of safeties, and a linebacker. The Cowboys have a 7th depth chart receiver, and Maurice Kennedy.
See, it's just not me.
Put it on there. We'll dissect it.
And this one's going to drive Suds nuts.
Oh, fuck.
Look at this one. Jameez.
Jameez.
Wow.
Alawale.
Wally.
Alawale.
Alawale.
Alawala. Wait, no.
They might as well just put Drew Prescott.
All the way, what?
They might as well just put They might as well just put Drew Prescott on there because he ain't gonna do shit this year anyway.
Alan Hearns.
Oh, look at this. Alan Hearns, Albert Wilson, Marquise Goodwin.
Not Godwin, Goodwin.
Good
Yeah.
one. Different
Nate
person.
Soldier.
Godwin's on
Nate Soldier is a big one for the Giants.
Hey. Well, nobody messes with that dude. He could sit out the next 2 years. God bless him, dude. He's fought off cancer.
Yeah.
And his son's fighting off cancer right now.
Yep.
Hell, pay him his whole salary and tell his ass to sit at home. God bless him.
I agree.
DJ Mosley. There's the other one right there. Offense lineman for the Jets.
Leo. Oh, just call him Leo.
Colo,
Don't go any,
Kalamatangi.
don't go any farther.
Kola
Just call him Leo.
Amatatangi. Kola
Gera-
Amatatangi. That's his-
Geronimo. Geronimo. He's the last of the Geronimo.
Geronimo.
Sorry, just to back up, that CJ Mosley that's going to be a pretty big hit
Yeah.
for the
Yes,
Jets,
that is.
especially.
Because he's been a person that's once again another heart right. He's up, he's down, he's up, he's down. There's no really consistent season with him. With the Jets, I can believe that would be a loss for them because they don't really have a strong running back like him. But even when he was with the Ravens, he had shoes to fill when Ray Lewis was out, and he couldn't do it. I mean, like, you had a decent defense. You had Terrell Suggs in front of you. Sacks were almost handed to you in your opportunity, and you couldn't capitalize on it.
Devin Funchess, huh?
The Jets.
So,
too. That was a huge.
Geronimo joins the Lions. This will be his first year with the Lions, and he opts out.
Last of the Geronimos.
Wow.
That was like Marquise Lee too.
That
Yeah,
what
yeah,
a
yeah.
Devin Funchess.
Devin Funchess. That's
Yep.
what I said. Yeah.
Same thing with the Packers. Yep.
Yep.
that would
Which-
you want to talk about someone who's never getting another contract?
Then
You just
get
saw
to-
those two.
Then you get to the Patriots.
Yeah, and then we get to the big ol'.
Wow.
That is a lot.
Marquise Lee. One.
Patrick Chun is
signed.
the one.
Just,
There's
yeah,
the
he's,
whole offense.
Patrick Chun and Hightower, the big one, because
Yeah.
those guys run that defense.
Matt
So they're-
LaCroix was just signed from Denver.
These two are not that big of a loss, Mike.
Yeah.
It's not.
No,
that,
but I mean, he did something in Denver to pick them back up, and then but coming over there was going to make his debut, obviously, and then losing the quarterback for him. I mean, he's not really that bad of a tight end. He was decent at least.
Doug, what's your keen look here on the Raiders, guys? I'm not,
up guys that probably would not
not
have
familiar
made
with
it.
any of those guys.
Are you sure? Because that defensive back sure looks like he'd make a killing.
I'd
No.
say- Oh, there's that
Thanks.
softball toss to you, Suds.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Chance Womack, huh? For the Seattle Seahawks, Chance Womack.
I keep trying to squirrel up. I can't do it.
So the Saints, just a couple of tight ends. The Ravens, not too much. DeAnthony Thomas, the offensive tackle, Andre Smith. Actually, that is, that is somewhat of a hit. I mean, it's not as bad as losing Moore, but I mean, not on the Steelers.
Chance Womack for Seattle, that's going to be a big one for them.
Yeah,
They never have a good offensive line.
no, they don't. Well, that's why Russell
I
Wilson-
like it. Steelers, Texans, Titans, Vikings, Washington.
Washington football team.
Still can't get over it.
Football team.
But that's the list for the opt-outs. I mean, like I said, it looks like everybody's pretty much on board for playing.
No,
You
do
know,
it.
that was the perfect move by the Washington Redskins, though.
How
Because
so?
they get to piss everybody off by not naming a team. And then we get to talk about again this coming up next year and what name. So we're going to keep talking about these fuckers, and they haven't done a
year.
damn thing
Yeah,
for what?
smart
decades.
PR in a sense.
I like one of the stories said that billions of people are mad because they couldn't pick a logo and a name. Well, if you're on Facebook, you should have seen the memes that are popping up. They said millions of people are mad because Washington can't pick a logo and a name, but yet you have the Cleveland Browns, which just no logo and a color.
And a color.
Yeah, but it was named after Paul.
It was named after a person that was on, but
Right.
It
was,
doesn't matter. It's a fucking color.
It was named for the coach, not the color. It just so happened to coincide.
Just coincides that the
Just so
colors are
happened.
brown,
Brown with the Browns.
and they happen to go with the Browns as the name.
Hey, Suds, Adam says look up to his brother's name.
I don't want to.
Oh, too bad.
Tulua?
Tulua.
Yeah.
Tulua.
No.
Oh my God!
Leah.
Tell me this isn't true. Hold on a second.
So we're gonna go
Tulua.
call him the baby tuna.
No, I said Tuna Junior.
TJ.
It's
Oh, there. Oh,
TJ.
there it is.
TT. So we're
TT.
calling TTs?
T squared.
T squared. Hey, that's good.
No, I'm going with
Oh
TT.
yes, a T squared. Bravo.
Thank you very much.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Adam, we now have T square to add to Tuna and Drees Breeze.
Trees breeze.
I am actually thinking I'm gonna get a marker on Drew's names on the fantasy kits. I am writing Drees Breeze. Drees right across the top of it. It'll be known as Drees Breeze.
I just hope I get a jersey now in the mail that says T squared. Probably try.
And Donnie says the Ravens suck. Shut up, Mike.
Thank you. I agree.
I never said that. I was talking about CJ Mosley. I wasn't talking about just about the Ravens. And yes, we all know that. But what's really funny is something shot across my phone about Zach Greinke. He was calling his pitches out to the players, letting them know what he was pitching. It says that he was not there during the cheating time, but he was just letting you know this is what you're getting.
Really?
I'm going to pull a Greg Maddux. I'm going to throw you an 86 mile an hour slider, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yep. He did that shit back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yep. He did that in the 80s.
Yep.
I'm going to throw him a curve, and he's going to pop it to the third baseman. Third base, be ready. What? Throws. Boom.
Yep. That's when the pitching coach came out and said, I don't know. You all right?
Yep.
Yeah, don't worry about me.
Well, that several weeks ago when we were talking about Greg Maddux, like the all-time list or whatever, that was one of the things I brought up. Is the coach came out to get him out of the game, and he's like, no, just one more batter. He's going to pop. I'm going to throw him a curve. He's going to pop third baseman, and the coach is like, "You're going to do what?
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, I got this. Third base, be ready. Let's go." Sure enough, next pitch, curve ball pops up, third base. Let's go, end inning.
If only he could have done that in the playoffs, maybe they would have won a World Series.
Actually, he did.
Did he win a
He
World
was
Series?
he was one he was one of the
World Series,
winningest pitchers in the playoffs. It was the rest of the team that couldn't do
What are
it.
you
You
doing?
went against the Indians.
Yeah.
Fucker.
It was the rest of the team.
Well,
that
it's because
couldn't do
Eric
shit.
Craig was behind the plate. And he had a
Like I said, it was the
strike
rest of
zone.
the
He
team.
had a strike zone as wide as the Mississippi River.
We've gone off the rails again.
I was going to say, and well, not as bad as Jerry Jones, by the way. What the hell? They asked for what the hell is the Cowboys to display quote unquote grace during the national anthem? It's extremely confusing because usually he already, of course, threatened his players and said everybody will toe the line and make sure that they were standing and that there was no kneeling for the Cowboys. And now it's he told reporters on Wednesday he expects his team to display quote unquote grace as it relates to the national anthem during games this season.
To be respectful.
When it comes to Jerry Jones,
Not disrespect,
really? That's an oxymoron.
right?
Hey, as long as I can just watch a game from his yacht, I don't really give a crap.
Right?
From the yacht, I still want to turn around and go play Madden on that big 80-yard.
I do. I walk around naked.
Okay.
Moving on.
That thing is huge. You seen that damn thing?
Said.
That's not what she said.
I'm not talking about the yacht
Oh.
either.
What are we doing with fantasy football here?
Please, please.
I think fantasy football is
What are we
also
supposed to be
over.
talking about here? I'm lost.
Well,
Well,
Adam
Yeah,
says
we-
can't
hey,
wait.
You see how we give each other softballs all the time? This is
Yeah.
Adam says,
I
"Can't
really
wait for
don't
the-"
need that much help, but okay.
Oh, you need help. Trust me. We know
Not that
you
kind
need
of help.
Mary Clark.
My dad had me. My mother had me tested. I'm okay.
Mary Clark says I'd fish off the side of it. Adam, I know Zolt was going for this.
Yeah, go
Can't
for it.
wait for the draft. I'm in with whoever that may be in for this from this group. Everybody is in, Adam. So plus Jen from Helping Hands, who hopefully everything is still going well. We know that she was at the hospital on Sunday. Hopefully everything is progressing quickly. And
Where the hell are you, Mike?
Jesus
going down to
Christ,
my-
dude.
he's in the
basement now
hole
because
again.
Holly is
Adam
turning
says,
up the
"Think
volume
this
on the
must
TV
switch
because
to
she can't hear it."
NC-17." Adam, after 10 o'clock, it's X.
Yeah,
It's just
Dueling Aces After Dark.
We're like Raw back in like early 2000s when like after 10 o'clock they would just do everything.
yeah. Well,
I missed that.
unlike
I did too.
Good old days.
yeah,
Yeah.
like now we're after 10 o'clock. It's called Raw Underground. It's like
Oh, it was a war zone back after 10 o'clock.
Yeah, yeah. No, I like the Dueling Aces After Dark.
I do too.
It's got a great ring to it.
I didn't know I had to wait till 10 o'clock. I'm sorry.
It's 10 o'clock somewhere, right?
Yeah.
We get many waivers. Don't worry.
Somebody should have warned me.
Well, the base projections for, as they call with the half PPR, your top 5 QBs are looking at is Mahomes, Jackson, Prescott, Wilson, and Murray. And this is coming from Fantasy Pros, who we will definitely give a shout out to and credit to because it's their page. But this is who they have listed as their tiers, broken down into their tiers. So tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. And notice who's sitting in a tier 3.
Tom Brady a tier 3? What the?
This
That's called a hater.
First of all,
And Drew Brees at number 10. Seriously? Above
Aaron Rodgers is at
below
13.
Josh Allen? And
That's
below
hilarious. If
Carson
you're looking at
Wentz?
this is what I'm just looking at.
who has actually thought about fantasy right now? Well, we know you because you have so much time on your hands.
And Dak
no,
Prescott.
we're also the commissioners.
Yeah.
We're the commissioners. We've had to worry about this nightmare. We've been thinking about this nightmare already for almost a week and a half.
How did
Yeah,
Baker
but-
Mayfield even make the list?
I think.
Yeah, I mean, I was just the reason I have. I mean, let's face it. That last weekend I sent out my texts of why the hell haven't you guys signed up yet?
Speaking of which, draft is Saturday, and we haven't gotten an invite yet.
What invite? You're already there. You didn't get deleted.
Oh,
Yeah. So you're automatically there. No, you don't have to worry about that.
See, to me, I got a feeling Dak Prescott's just going to fall right on his face this year. Only
yeah.
because
I
with
don't
all
even
the
have him in the
contract-
top 5.
With all the contract shit going around him, I think he's just going to fall right on his face.
Yeah,
My
like I
question
said,
is,
this
why
was-
is he that high? Because all you have is Cooper.
Why is Stafford 12?
Go look at his receiver. And his
Daniel
tight end.
Jones 14? Really?
Well, I got Daniel Jones at 13. So, I mean, that's close enough.
I mean, the one that cracks me up the most is where you got Jared Goff at 17. He actually is the only quarterback to have 2 receivers in the top 15.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Well, I know. I'm just
Jimmy
that's
G
what
is
cracks
in
me up.
tier
It's-
4?
I was talking to George about this. Is how you rate a quarterback so low, but yet you put
The
the
wide receivers are so high.
Hey, George, if you don't mind, could you put it on tier 3 and tier 4?
Sure.
Thanks.
Let me get that
Thank you.
right away right there. Yep.
I mean, I figured tier 5 guys are. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Cam Newton, 15. I
Yeah.
wouldn't even put him in the top 20.
No.
like I said, this is, and
I wouldn't even put him in the top 25.
look at the quarterback who went to the Super Bowl last
That's
year.
what I just said. I
22?
said Jimmy G. I said Jimmy G's at 22.
What did he lose?
But didn't he have this? One of his receivers just opted out, didn't they?
Travis Benjamin is not one of the
No, I
stars.
thought it was someone else. I'm sorry.
No, it was Travis
Oh, okay.
Benjamin.
I mean, Mozart left, but
No, Travis Benjamin isn't worth the hill of beans.
To me, Daniel Jones should not be in tier 3.
No. But neither should Baker Mayfield.
why not?
I agree. I kind of agree with
No,
that.
no,
because
I'm only asking. I'm not
he had an off
attacking.
year
I'm
last
just
year.
asking.
Well,
Why? Because Jimmy G went to the Super Bowl. Kirk Cousins had a better passing year.
and
Philip Rivers is a Hall of Famer.
So I think
He is.
Also,
I was going to say Rivers is
they've
good
got.
for his numbers every year. Every year he gets
But he
his
doesn't
numbers.
win.
See, Baker Mayfield has 2 receivers in the top 30.
well,
I know we're just getting to that, but we're going by the quarterbacks here.
So I think a few things to keep in consideration for the QBs that are in those spots is how either good or how crappy their team is. The reason why Stafford's so high is not because the Lions are going to be winning. It's because he's going to be throwing the ball freaking 600 times a game because their defense sucks.
Yeah.
So some of those guys,
Yeah.
like, you can't look at how good they are as like an offense or a team. You got to take the whole thing into consideration. And
Yeah.
like guys like that, why Garoppolo's so low, even though his team went to the Super Bowl, it's because he's not throwing the ball. San
700.
Francisco's a running
Right.
team,
Yeah.
so
Right.
he ain't chucking the ball up to get those, fourth quarter garbage touchdowns.
So like in a PPR league, Jimmy G
that's what this is.
really wouldn't.
Right.
Well, so since we're on Fantasy Pros, I just brought up Fantasy Pros final quarterback rankings for last year. So Jimmy G finished 14th. So it's not like he set the fantasy world on fire.
No.
Correct.
but
No, but he didn't throw that many
drop him all
interceptions.
the way down there.
But who said that Philip Rivers is a Hall of Famer?
Me.
Is that you, Doug?
No, it was
No,
me.
that was
Was
Sudbury.
No way.
He's
Every time
he's
he
a
comes-
fantasy football Hall of Famer.
Fuck. Yeah, I agree.
You don't
When he
think
gets in- when he
Rivers
gets
is
in
a
the
Hall of
playoffs,
Famer?
No, when he gets into the playoffs, he shits his pants every damn time.
Who, Jim Kelly?
No,
Dan Marino.
Rivers. Mute his ass. Thank you.
Got him. Here's the big kicker here. You had Tom Brady sitting as a tier 3 quarterback, yet his two top targets are tier 2. Double
Yeah,
up.
that's one of those things where you got to start looking at how does your math add up?
Yeah.
Thank you. I didn't see Godwin up there. I was looking for the other one before.
Yeah, there's Godwin here and there's Mike Evans there.
So, okay, once again, going back to that, they 2 top 10, in the top 10.
They're in the top 8.
8, yeah.
They're in the top 8, and Brady's listed as 13.
What was Matt Ryan?
Matt
Uh,
Matt Ryan was
He's in the top. He was in the top tier.
22nd.
No,
Oh, he was 8. Okay.
he's
Well-
sitting right there at 8.
Yeah.
Oh, Matt Ryan, sorry. I was thinking Stafford for some freaking reason.
No,
Thank you.
So I know we're on wide receivers right now, but I know we're talking about the 2 Tampa Bay guys. Can we switch over just to tight end real quick? I'm curious where they have Gronkowski, because
oh yeah, that's
if you have those 2 guys and then you layer in Gronkowski in like the top tight ends,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I have no clue why Brady is where he's at.
Gronk sits in tier
Down at 11.
number
Ooh.
11.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
when you have the number 5, 8, and 11, like, yeah, I know he's a tight end, but in your quarter, what was Brady? 14?
13.
13. Yeah, that makes
13.
no sense mathematically.
No, it doesn't. I mean, even I know Zolt's big on the ADP. Even that doesn't make any sense.
The thing with Gronk, though, is he's been out for a year. So is he going to really produce what he did 2 years ago?
But I'm saying as an overall, I mean, overall offense, you're looking at why is Brady sitting that? I mean, unless they're anticipating the same thing we are, is different system, it's not going to be a quick adjustment. It may take half the season, and he might have issues. He might struggle.
If that's the case, though, then those wide receivers should be
dropped
a lot further.
Yes.
a lot.
Yeah.
So that really makes no sense.
Yeah, that's what. Obviously, these are projections. I'm just really curious if they have anywhere where you can look at their projected stats. I mean, everything on here is ADP, standard deviation, et cetera, which is all well and good, but that's just where people are drafting them. I want to see some of these numbers.
Running backs for a second.
That's almost like you're projecting Tom Brady to not play every game.
You're not on PPR.
Well, my thing is, I think a lot of, like with Gronk, he's been out for a year. They just put him there because of his name.
Yes.
Like,
it'll always be that safety valve too.
It's like Roethlisberger was in tier 3. How the hell are you going to put him in tier 3? He hasn't played in a whole year. He has no receivers. He barely has any running backs.
Even he's overrated. 32nd. Further down that list.
He should be 52nd out of 51 tight ends.
Yeah, but once you get to that level of tight ends, like it's a crap.
It don't matter.
Wait, if he's number 32, who got booted off?
What do you mean? Who got booted off?
32 teams.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Well, the other ones are above, like Hooper's.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying there's 32 teams and there's 2 tight ends from the Browns.
Yeah, but he's also the second Cleveland tight end on the list.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm saying.
Teams will have multiple tight ends up there, and some teams just don't use them other than blocking.
I would put the guy that the Browns drafted out of Florida Atlantic above the Joker. He'll probably be in like tier 7 or 8.
Now, didn't I see Delanie Walker was signed by? Didn't I see he was signed by somebody?
Did he? I don't have that.
It was Oakland.
I didn't know he was a free agent.
He was number 3 up there.
No,
that's Waller.
Oh,
yeah.
You're thinking Waller, the wrong guy.
Yes. All right.
Delanie Walker. I thought he was.
Oh, that's right.
That's the one from Tennessee, right?
He blew out his knee last year, didn't he? Or he had a big injury last year. That's why he didn't play.
I know he did. I thought he did 2 years ago. I could be completely. I could be wrong though.
How far did the Lions tight end drop? I know we were saying, Hawkinson's 16th. Wow.
Yeah.
That is high. I was thinking he may have been one of the top 32, or the Lions might have been one of the teams that didn't have a tight end in the top 32, because Cleveland had 2. But
he came on. He was a good flash in the pan for several different weeks. I mean, it depended on who Detroit was playing. He was actually putting up solid numbers.
I think he only had one good, like the first week he went off, and then after that, like maybe one or 2 other good games, and then he got injured and was out like half the year.
Yeah, it was a hit and miss deal. I mean, but if he can stay healthy, it's definitely a positive weapon for Detroit.
I think we should have a drinking game.
No.
It says every time someone says if they could stay healthy.
Oh, good Lord.
You have to take a drink.
No, we don't need to be sending people to the hospital. We do not.
Because every time we talk about a fucking Lions team, well, if they can stay healthy,
it's not just Lions.
we could be great. If Stafford can stay healthy, if his tight ends can stay healthy, if his wide receivers can stay healthy, in Cleveland can they stay off drugs?
No, Josh Gordon's out of there, so we don't have to worry.
That's true.
So, Burrich, to answer your question, Walker only played 1 game in 2018, and he played 7 games in 2019. So, obviously, both years.
Yeah.
All right, here is the running backs.
Hey, George, I think Akers has a good point. If you go up to the scoring, like the filters, you're
go on the left-hand side where the blue mark is. You're on standard point system. Just to give you
go to half PPR.
Because that
changes. Oh my God, it is so different. It's not going to.
This got tighter.
Well, you got to change it to half
because
PPR.
Kyler Murray is number 5 at Is he only that high because of D Hop?
That list did not change from the standard. By the way.
Okay, number one, your
Breeze-
quarterback isn't going to change for half PPR.
Daniel
not-
Jones went up to 14.
But George, you're back to standard.
Yeah,
Every
you're
time
also
you
back to standard every time. you
change
change it.
position. It takes you back to standard. You gotta,
Oh, son, mine didn't do that.
Oh. Quarterback. It won't.
you're on quarterback, and then go ahead and hit the half. Now you should be locked
Okay.
in.
No, but it keeps
Nope.
changing.
When you change position, also change scoring
Oh,
right next to it.
yes, to the right. Position and scoring sit next to each other. There you go.
Oh, it doesn't give you a PPR option.
No.
I wish we had a host that knew what the hell they were doing.
Well, it's their damn website.
Then you're listening to the wrong radio show.
I didn't even know we were on the radio.
Wow.
Their sites.
Okay, I'm telling you,
Well, we are called Red
PPR
Line
doesn't
Radio,
matter
right?
for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
It doesn't, Dave, but the site's not working though. Every time
I
you hit
understand.
it-
But perhaps it's one of those things where every time you go back to the quarterback, it resets it because it doesn't matter.
Is that your crickets or is that actually crickets in my basement?
That's my crickets.
Uh, so, anyways,
I named him Ralph.
standard anyway. Running backs.
Okay.
Not Jimmy.
No.
Who should not be on this list? Should be your question.
Mixon?
Oh, They were saying that
I
Josh,
see two of them right off the bat.
they were
Who's
saying
that?
Josh
Cook,
Jacobs.
Cook and Henry are ranked way too high. Henry didn't even kick in until like week 10, and Cook is always hurt.
I'm trying to figure out who Clyde Edwards
That's
Hilaire.
Kansas City.
Kansas City rookie.
He's the guy from LSU.
That's the Kansas City Chiefs rookie who's taken over for Damian Williams.
Oh. Okay.
That is going to be the biggest gamble
To be up
right
higher.
now.
My thing was Saquon only because I had him last year in my fantasy league, or our fantasy league, George. Is he got hurt last year? So how can you put him that high?
Because he showed you the talent in the first year,
His
and
first-
second he had sophomore slump. I mean, it happens. It happens a
Yeah.
lot. So now it's either the bounce back year or it's showing that the first year was a
Regression.
flash in the pan. One of the
Yeah.
two. I mean, I had him that first year. I loved having him that first year.
Like Chris Carlson, the thing with Seattle running backs, they go through like 18 different running backs a goddamn season. Why the hell are you going to put a Seattle running back in the top 15?
I wouldn't.
All right, Suds, take a drink. It's because if they stay healthy, that's where they'll be.
And in the PPR, Austin Eckler is sitting at 14. I mean, come on. No,
I mean,
he's
that's another
top
situation.
10.
He lost his quarterback.
Well, that's
This
the other
isn't-
thing. With Chubb, he can catch shit out of the backfield too. So it's not
Yeah.
what with a PPR. That's like a
Yeah, but I don't think this
Right
is
there.
PPR, guys. I think it's still
Nope, standard.
Yeah, it's still standard. And it's going to go.
Oh, hey.
Oh, hey.
All
All
right.
right.
The off
Hey.
PPR
All right.
what changes everything.
No,
Interesting.
Cook and
Hey,
Henry are still ranked
Interesting.
It made it worse.
Ooh,
Yeah.
wow.
Look at this.
Holy crap.
Chubb all the way at 13.
I ain't never seen Kenyon Drake up that high.
But
Yeah.
how can you have a
Like,
guy?
that's what I said. I don't understand it.
How can you have the guy from LSU up to 7 when he hasn't even proven himself in the NFL yet?
That's a good question.
They're assuming that all the carries are going to him, and I am not assuming all the carries
No,
are going to him.
no.
That is just got running back by committee, just a gigantic sign above it.
So,
Running
like,
back by
that's-
committee.
Miles Sanders.
Mixon?
Wait,
My
wait.
daddy once told me assumption is the mother of all fuck ups.
Who's Miles Sanders? I never heard of him.
From Philly.
Philadelphia rookie.
Yeah, but no, it was a
Last
rookie
year
last
for him.
year, wasn't it?
Last year.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, last year.
Rookie last year. Yeah.
He got me a couple of wins against you last year.
Yeah.
He went off.
He had some good weeks. Yeah.
He went absolutely off in the playoffs last year. I think it was either the semifinals or the quarterfinals. I think he had like 3 touchdowns in one of those games.
He was morely a receiving running back, catching off the flat.
That is really
I would actually.
Fournette up that high, I wouldn't even put him in the top 20.
I would have to. I hate to say this, but Mark Ingram probably have to be a little higher than that.
I think so too.
Swap Ingram and Fournette.
well, as long as Lamar Jackson's not running around like an idiot.
Ooh, I just noticed someone's missing out of this list.
Who?
Scroll down a little bit more. Let me see. Sure is. They bumped him down. Number 30.
Yeah, Makers.
You just want to
The
say
starting
Akers.
running back for the
I
Rams.
just wanted to say Aker.
Yeah.
I just don't think they know what to make of that offense, other than the passing game.
Here, scroll down real quick, George. The wild card is number 25, Kareem Hunt.
Mm.
That is going to be a big ass wild card right there. 'Cause
I mean,
they actually were able to put him and Chubb together last 8 games last year.
Biner and Mac all over again.
I'd take that in a heartbeat. 1,000 yards per rushing. Fuck, man. Who wouldn't take that?
Yeah,
Okay.
the question with Chubb is how many carries per game does he get?
Thing is, he doesn't need. He can get 100 yards on 15 carries. He's done that many a time. So
That tier 4 group is an absolute cluster. Like,
Isn't it though?
if you look at, like, I mean, just start from 18.
David Johnson?
Well, I'm just saying, like, even like you look at 18, Melvin Gordon, who the hell knows what he's going to do? Le'Veon, who the hell knows? James Conner, who the hell knows? David Johnson, like a lot of those guys are.
That guy does not even that dude.
George, I wish I could remember the quote that I gave you over the phone. I can remember some of it, but it it was along the lines of, it's bad enough that it's bad enough that you lost your starting gig where you were, and it's bad enough that you can't stay healthy, but to not even be the best Johnson in your own backfield.
Yeah. How did Mark Ingram fall that much? He was
Because he's got somebody ahead of him.
No, he's starting back.
Oh,
starting back.
He was.
He's got somebody
J.K.
that's going to be ahead of him.
Well,
J.K. Dobbins is 35.
J.K. Dobbins down there at 35.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was stating. That's what I said. You're going by starting running backs here. That's why I pointed out Cam Akers. He's the starting running back for the Rams.
Yep.
And he's down in the 30th position. So you're going to tell me that Jared Goff is going to be passing 75% of the plays?
Yes, because they're going to be losing 75% of the time.
Uh-huh.
You may not be wrong. It goes
Yeah, I was going to say that's actually a really good point.
All right, here's a
What do you? I mean, I'm just going through the facts of what are they predicting out of him?
Here's a fantasy question
I
for
predict
y'all.
that ass kicking.
Here's a fantasy question for y'all. With guys now out of the league, Adrian Peterson, do you draft him at all?
Yeah.
Where the hell is Peterson?
Yeah,
Right,
you
man.
have to
He's
now.
with Washington, and he will be the
He's-
starter.
Yeah, you have to now.
Look at number 39.
Did you see his quote? He wants to break Emmitt Smith's record.
Yeah, I know about that.
At 49. He's sitting
No.
at 49 right now.
Look at number 39.
Look
Don't-
at Marlon Mack.
He should be higher.
Holy crap! What is he doing down there?
That's it.
Who,
Oh.
Marlon Mack?
Yeah.
They've got like 3 or 4 running backs in there, and they're going to use all of them.
But usually he's the main one.
He was
Was
last year. I can't remember. Something happened where he just fell off, and I can't
think-
remember what it was.
I think he had like turf toe. Actually, I think it was like turf
yeah,
toe.
I
or
think it was the
some
turf
shit like
toe.
that, yeah.
wasn't it?
Adrian Peterson is an honorable mention on my all criminal team.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we haven't forgotten. That
He wasn't convicted, but he was guilty.
See, Sony Michelle, I say he's around that because he'll have like 2 or 3 good games in a row, and then he'll he'll have like 6 or 7 games in a row where he just smells like shit because he can't do anything.
problem with him is like James White takes basically
Yep.
all the receiving.
Touchdowns.
And I mean, I think he
Yep.
finished not last year, but the year before. Like White finished like as the 8th top running back in the league because basically straight because of his receiving. like,
Yep.
So I don't even know. Is White higher than Sony Michel on this list?
He
Like New England
should
running
be.
back?
I was gonna say he should be.
He
Yeah,
should
I
be.
agree with Zolt.
There he is, right
Yeah,
there,
right
Yeah,
there.
29.
I
Yep.
would take a New England Patriot running back to save their lives. It's you don't know what anybody's going to do on that team.
I think that's what we talked about last week. Like if you can guess right each week, you'll knock it out of the park. But if you
Yeah.
don't guess right, you're SOL.
You're just assuming you're making assumptions that they can run the offense like Tom did.
Well,
There
this
They
you
year,
might be a
100%.
one-hit wonder. Let's not forget Cam Newton can't throw the ball. He's an inaccurate quarterback.
And here's Burkhead down here,
Yeah,
at 25.
Yeah.
That's who I was looking for. I'm like, all right.
there you go. Carlos Hyde, Seattle. They got like 18.
I was
running
gonna
backs.
say flipping the teams, going to Seattle. You got Carlos Hyde right there, and then you
And
have
Penny.
Penny sitting right below him.
Isn't Penny coming
what-
back
From
from?
what I heard, Hyde is going to be the starter.
You're right, Zolt.
Yeah,
I thought is Carson still in
Carson.
Seattle?
Carson's the
still-
starter.
Still in
Carson.
Seattle.
You have Carson as the starter. You have Hyde, and you got Penny, which I actually wanted the Browns to take Penny before Chubb because he was excellent out of San Diego State. But I was wrong on that one.
Yeah, Penny's coming back from I think an ACL, if I remember
Yes,
right.
Penny's rookie
Yeah.
year was injured.
You
Who
brought
the
up
hell's gonna be the
Marlon Mack.
starting running back
Yes, sir.
in Miami, Howard, Breida, or Swift?
Swift.
Breida.
Probably, I was gonna say it's probably gonna be Breida.
Swift is going to be a monster.
I thought Swift was in Detroit.
I was just
He
gonna
is.
say.
Yeah.
Swift, As
Swift
a-
is going to be a monster.
Swift is in Detroit.
The other Swift.
Howard or Breida? It's gonna be Breida.
It's going to be Burrito just because they're going to be gambling on Howard to see if he could stay healthy.
And
But the last 2 years,
numbers,
Howard's been injured.
but Breida's power bet numbers from last year of what he did with the 49ers. That's why. That's totally why.
Anyway, the quote from Marlon Mack, and this was today, and it was a quote from their coach Frank Wright. They named Marlon Mack as the starter, and then immediately said that they would also go with whoever the hot hand is. So your other backs are Jonathan Taylor, Jordan Wilkins, and Nyheim Hines. So Jonathan Taylor is obviously the name in there that
From
he's
Wisconsin.
got to look out for. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the guy I wanted the Lions to take, and then freaking Indianapolis took him like 2 picks ahead of the Lions, so they took Swift. I mean, it's a good
Is that second
consolation.
round?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just for the S&G factor, here's how they rank out the defenses.
Yeah.
Wow, they still got New England at 5. That's insane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's no way.
That is insane.
I don't know if that's based on just their conference or their division just sucks.
Could be.
Although I mean we went through their
Buffalo
schedule.
beat
It's the hardest in the league. So
Buffalo number 4.
They got a good defense, man.
Yeah,
Buffalo's
the
gonna
defense is
be-
decent. Be decent. Chicago.
That number 2 and
It's-
number 3 is going to be very questionable.
Well, yeah, I'm shocked at Pittsburgh being at 2. I mean, it's head scratcher, especially because they were nowhere near that last year. Nowhere. There's no reason why Pittsburgh should be up there. None. I mean, even Wallachek would have to sit there and go, okay. Yeah, that's just, it's nuts.
Their best, they're going to be one of their first picks in a defense. Their worst, they're going to be the 6th picks in a defense.
I don't understand what the Tennessee Titans are sitting at 16 after what they did in the playoffs. They're I mean, you take away from the cluster of Kansas City. I mean, Kansas City being one of the greatest offenses in the NFL. I mean, the shit they did in the playoffs and in the regular season I kind of expect them to be much higher than number 16.
It was 16, and it shows them trending down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder
Really?
if they lost some.
So they
some
lost a
people.
player.
Well,
But I don't see a whole lot on Tampa Bay to have them ranked higher.
I'm sorry. I can skip Pittsburgh number 2.
that's see, yeah. Like I said, that's somebody was drunk when they made this list, because yeah,
No, somebody was just
Jesus.
trying to piss off all the Cleveland Browns fans.
Well, they did it. Trust
Yeah,
me.
I noticed.
it's
Hey,
not
George.
just it's a realistic. There's
I mean,
Who's
I
dead
under-
last?
I understand they got Boza, and
Jacksonville.
I think, and I understand they got Boza because I think he's the better Boza of
Giants.
the two.
Giants.
there's
Come on.
there's the bottom of the barrel.
Where the Lions in Cleveland are at.
Actually,
No,
though,
Cleveland's 20.
yeah.
Cleveland's up a little higher.
So
Yeah, I
F
think
you.
I think a
They're
part
gonna
of,
Suds.
rate-
Yeah,
Vegas
so suck it,
quarterback-
sons.
I think a
This,
part.
that's another thing that cracks me up. It's like they predict that these teams are going to win so many games, but yet you put Vegas, for an example, all the way at the bottom, Miami all the way at the bottom, but you put their receivers and running backs at the top of the list. I mean, I understand it's 2 different sections, but like,
Isn't this wrong?
I agree with that.
Call me. I thought
I agree.
Arizona's defense was a lot. I mean,
So I think
Okay,
part of the
cool.
reason why they're there is their strength of schedule. You think about the Giants, like that conference is just going to beat the crap out of each other. Cincinnati, I mean, they got to play freaking a really tough schedule. Las Vegas is probably even tougher than both of them because they got freaking Kansas City twice. Denver twice, like Arizona, same thing. I mean, they got to play San Francisco, so like those defenses, they may
Seattle
be
twice.
good, but they're playing like just absolutely like crappy schedules and a lot of high-powered offensive teams. So
well, the Rams defense sucked. So why isn't the Rams down here?
But I think that the NFC West is so much better of a conference than the NFC
Yeah.
East. I mean, if the last 2 years where your top team is 8-8, 9-7, that ain't a good conference.
Rams are 10.
And the Rams are at 10. And I'm sorry, I think the Rams and the Cards are going to be flipping spots here.
yeah, but you got to remember this has nothing to do with record. It's all about the offenses you're playing and the points you're putting up in fantasy. So you could have a team that that's absolutely awesome, that's 16-0. But if they're giving up a shit ton of yards each game because they're up so much and the other team's just passing, and they're scoring a lot, but you're still winning, your defense is going to suck in fantasy.
Yeah, in most scoring systems, if your team gives up 35 points, you get 0 points.
Oh, you're going negative in some of the.
You're even in a negative.
Yeah.
Okay, so conservatively 28, 21 points at 0. But if your offense is scoring 42 points a game, who cares what your defense is doing?
That's a la Kansas City. They put up
Right.
50 every game, but they gave up 40. So their record looks really good, but their defense is
Which
horrible.
is why they are at
you
the bottom of the list.
yourself in
And unless your league is like George, which allows return yardage, and then they're studs.
Well, look at Green Bay. Green Bay hasn't had a good defense in how many goddamn years, and they're 18.
19,
middle.
18.
They
yeah.
played Detroit twice.
and
There you
Chicago.
go.
Chicago.
Hey.
But I mean, you see what I'm saying though? I mean, they should be in the top or bottom 5, 10.
Yeah, but you
Not
just
18.
pointed out 4 games where you're going to kick somebody's ass.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of boosts
Okay.
your scores.
That's half the wins you need.
That's half the. Yeah, I was gonna say that's 2. Because you're only maybe you're splitting with Detroit. You got Detroit and Chicago. There's 4, and then
And maybe
you
you're
worry
splitting
about
with Minnesota.
You might split. So
Yeah.
actually, that's why that defense is there.
Well, and again, too, it's not based on record; it's based on fantasy points. So,
Right.
like
You know,
Green
you're
Bay,
giving up
they
28
typically
points and you're 0.
well, and part of it is they play in Lambeau. So Green
Yeah.
Bay may win a lot, but or even if they lose a lot, they're still not giving up a lot of points. There's still not a lot of offensive. The teams that are going in there, they're not putting up a lot of offense because they're playing in freaking the tundra. So I look at it more kind of like based on strength of schedule and the amount of points fantasy wise versus like the actual record the teams are going to put up. When you're looking at the fantasy defense.
Scroll up just on the defense real quick, George. I just want to see the top 8.
Roll it.
fuck Pittsburgh. Ugh.
But no,
You can't get
well,
over it.
I
I can't. I mean,
think about the.
I'm gonna put him number 2 just for the look on your
even
face.
even New Orleans. I mean, look how many games New Orleans gave up 30, 40 points every.
So
damn game.
believe it or not, last year in 2019, Pittsburgh's defense was ranked number 2 in fantasy football, behind New England.
Because of the receiving.
And how do they finish?
Touchdowns.
So again, it really has nothing to do with record. It's based on fantasy points.
It's
So-
sacks and interceptions and defensive touchdowns.
Yep.
They're figuring it's going to be a repeat performance on what their strength of schedule is. So what's
No-
Pittsburgh?
New Orleans at 7. They never have a good defense.
And now you're throwing Brady into that mix, into that conference?
I agree. I totally agree.
Well, New Orleans has to go down because Tampa Bay no longer can throw interceptions to New Orleans. He's flipping sides.
But I
Sorry,
mean,
Rudiak is.
Yeah, it does cut down on your scoring when the guy doesn't throw 12 interceptions for you.
Yeah, so that's why he's saying they're up too high.
well, I even think Kansas City's up too high.
Yeah, Kansas City's.
Yeah,
definitely-
Kansas City's up way too high.
Yeah, way too high.
I would say
Also-
20th with them.
So George, does this include special
15,
teams
15
points?
So.
Because Kansas City last year, the one I'm looking at is defense and special teams. Kansas City was
yeah.
ranked 8th, so you gotta include your your return
Mhm.
touchdowns.
It is defense and special teams.
So that's why Kansas City's 8th, because their freaking return game is just
Return.
sick.
Insane, yeah.
Tyreek Hill and McLemore.
Yeah.
I say, come on, Mr. Kansas City.
Yep. Hey, for real. Hey, you know, when you're juggling baseball and football simultaneously, it is one hell of a ride. Not gonna lie, it's not an easy task. Just for the other S&G factor, here's your kickers. And
Al Del Greco.
look who's not number 1. Tucker.
I don't understand it.
Number
I was so lost. I don't understand it.
Why?
Because Tucker kicks the most 50s. He's going to kick more field goals than Butler does because they're going to be scoring touchdowns. So he's gaining 1 point and not 3 points.
All right.
He was number 3 last year, according to this website.
And Tucker was number 1.
No, Tucker was number 3.
Tucker was 3.
No, I put Kansas City because they're scoring a whole bunch of damn points every game.
But they're only getting 1 point in a standard scoring or 10 points in Georgia's league for the extra point compared to
Which is
30
1
for
point.
the field goal.
Yeah, but
Take
a lot
out
of
the
times,
0.
if they're getting the red zone and they don't score, what are they doing? They're kicking field goals. So I think he should be number 1. Hell, they're averaging almost 30 some points a game. You can't discount that.
No. Look, hey Suds.
Yeah.
I saw this earlier. Look at number 10. I saw it earlier and I was like, yes, I can't wait to get to this because Suds is gonna just
Oh God. Is that
So I need to know what country that dude's from.
So you can look up.
Iran, I think.
Because that's just the greatest fucking name of all time.
I just thought you want to look up his criminal background.
No, Young Ho.
Well, yeah, Young Ho. You never know.
Yep.
Can you imagine drafting that guy? You're like, oh, what do we know? We need a kicker.
I'm gonna take Young Ho.
I like the name. It's going.
I said, you know what? Suds is gonna just love that one. And I said I couldn't wait.
Young Ho. Yo
Yep.
ho. What's up, yo?
That is definitely not in your baby book, Suds.
No.
Totally not in your baby book.
But it could be. Listen, it could be Korean. That looks like it's like Korean. So,
Yeah, that's what I was
it
thinking.
looks like it.
I
The
mean-
last name says it all. Cool.
Cool.
Young Ho.
Talking about not being politically correct. I need his first name on his jersey. That's what needs to happen.
Yes, Adam.
Yes,
Zach
Adam.
Gonzalez is the old Brown score kicker. Yeah, that's who that is.
Yes, he's South Korean.
South Korean. All right, that's kind of that explains a lot. Young Ho Koo.
Yeah, that's like I said, that one, Suds, it was especially for you, my man.
Thank you. I tell you what, if I was Atlanta, I'd like make multiple, like I'd make all those jerseys and just put his first name on there. It shit in Atlanta, you'd sell that shit out.
Wait a minute. The best part is, you know how they always have like these banners around the stadiums about say like Zolt's kids or something like that.
Yeah.
Young Ho kids, yay!
Oh, Jesus.
Wow,
We need Young Ho.
Oh man.
Young Ho. Right here, honey.
You opened up Pandora's box there.
Yes, I did.
I don't wanna...
Yes, I did. Oh my god. Yeah, but like I said, just for Suds, I had to go to the kickers because I knew that one was going to be right up his alley. 100%.
Hey, I was able to pronounce that. I just hate that. Hey, I can't say a whole lot about different countries' names. But when you're bored in the U.S.
or Wasser.
Yeah. Shrods, any enlightenment on this cat?
Yeah, I highly doubt he'll even be in the position when the year starts, or if he is, if it'll last 3 weeks. I think they're going to have a kicker by committee this year in New England.
So they're playing fantasy football with their kicker now.
I was going to say.
Pretty much. I think actually they're still trying out a few different guys, so I think he's just on there right now because he's kind of the name on the list. But, I mean, I don't know if I'd touch any New England kicker this year. I mean, Gostowski was like the man, at the beginning of last year, but he just went off the freaking walls. And I mean, I think they went through 3 or 4 different kickers after him last year. So until they get somebody that shows some consistency and some trust, or I should say Belichick trusts them, like I wouldn't touch anybody from New England.
Look who's still available.
It's Harry.
Look who's available.
Yeah,
53.
Look at two above him.
No, but I'm just saying. Look at
I know you have Adam Vinatieri, but then you also
Is
have
he looking to
Gostowski.
claims, get Social Security before he retires? Is that his plan?
Yeah, I mean, how poetic would it be that Adam comes back and has a great last year or two back with the team?
There's too much bad blood there. He went to Indianapolis, which was like a Cleveland player going to Pittsburgh or a Detroit player going to Green Bay.
No, but he could end up in Tampa Bay.
I don't even know who is Tampa Bay's kicker.
Vinatieri in a minute. It's a family reunion.
Matt
Gay.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Suds?
He will.
No.
Here's what's funny, George.
I already know where this was going. No.
He's got to be getting up there too in age. He's been around for a long time.
Yes, he has.
George, go to 28.
Go back down to 28.
That was uncalled for.
He's a free agent and he's in the top 32, not even on a team. Like there's 32 teams. Every team gets a kicker except the number. I mean, how horrible.
That is not right.
No, it's not.
That is wrong. That is wrong.
Yeah. He's so good. He doesn't have to be on a team. So let's draft this guy.
There's New England's kicker.
Wow.
Who did he play for last time?
Wasn't he with the Giants?
That's
Yeah.
I thought he was with the Giants.
All right.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And
With that being said,
yes,
we've put another one in the books. And it has definitely not been short of entertaining, that's for sure, especially the Dueling Aces After Dark. And this final hour has been tons of fun as always.
As always.
Let me get off of the damn screen. Thank you very much. So that being all done, I'd like to thank Mr. Zolt for hanging on to the connection while I was what did you, Dave? What?
Thank you, Mary.
Oh, we have Mary to thank for this. We have Mary to thank for this. Wow.
When you're old, cranky, but you're young, ho, coo. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
You're young when you're...
Say goodnight, everybody.
Oh my God.
Good night,
What's that?
Gracie.
Please, someone send that to my phone, please.
It's in the message. It's in the.
It's in
Mary,
our group chat.
Mary, oh yeah, you're in.
Gracias.
Mary,
Gracias.
Mary didn't miss a beat. She just threw that. Wow, that's quick. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Nice.
I do. I definitely do. Thank you very much.
That was awesome.
That was.
Well, put it this way, George. Do you have a Chargers jersey?
Tomlinson one. Yes, I do.
No, I think you need a Young Ho jersey.
I was gonna.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I just got done saying.
I know.
They need to put. Is he the kicker for Atlanta?
Yeah, now he is.
He's
Yeah.
a kid. Dude, are you kidding me?
Atlanta.
Down
That's
there,
one of your teams, George.
Down there,
That's one
dude,
of
that
your-
jersey will sell out. You got to put Young Ho on the back of it. You'll be a lot of. I'm not saying who,
That's one of your
but
teams.
there'll be a lot of
George.
people walking around there with the jersey Young Ho.
Oh man.
One of your
I
teams.
gotta get going, guys. But George, if you don't mind, send me the info for Saturday for you guys, and if I'm available, I'll definitely try to call in.
Sure, absolutely. I'll kick you the link.
Yep.
So if you wanted to pop
Even
in.
if it's just for the trophy ceremony, because I've never experienced one of those before. So
Or will you?
Oh.
Wow.
that's all right. The envelope with all the money in it every
Yeah,
year
that's-
that makes up for it. So
Yeah, that's fine.
Monopoly money, of course, but
Monopoly money. All that Monopoly money.
That's being. Look out, duck.
All right, Andrew.
all right, guys.
All right, as always, thank you very much, and I will give you the update.
Hey, if anybody's actually listening, don't forget, tune in on Saturday.
Yep, Saturday.
Around 2:00, 2:30, somewhere around there.
It'll be. I will set up another video probably on Saturday morning, if not a little sooner. But I will let everybody know when we've got solidified details. But yep, definitely check us out as the full MI Aces draft will be broadcast live on the Dueling Aces page only for Saturday, as Redline Radio, of course, will also have their regular scheduled programming of Hot Tag Wrestle Corner and Socks and Sneakers. So we will be strictly on the Dueling Aces page for this broadcast. So if you want, definitely check us out and tune into the award presentation as well as our draft, which we will try to make sure that Mr. Sudbury is somewhat coherent, and we'll keep that.
Not likely though.
The bottle of
no.
wine count. The odds are at the moment 3-1 on the bottles, or 2-1.
Wait a second. What?
Or is
How
it
many?
3 for 5? How many bottles? 5?
Me?
Yeah.
Before
You're
the draft
on
or after?
Before. Oh.
Preferably before.
There's a before, during, and after.
How do I get into this league?
Listen. Just remember, smartasses. There's usually a gun somewhere in my house.
Hey, he took. Hey,
Remember where it's at.
We need to get
Huh?
off the couch.
What's that?
We need to get off the couch to get it.
hey, he
Well, when
took
I
a-
find it,
He took his glasses off to say that.
Remember,
so I
you
don't
got to
wanna-
remember.
When I find the motherfucker, fortunately it's 2 barrels. So the odds of me hitting a target are better.
All right, guys. You guys have a good night. I'll talk to you.
All right,
Nice
see you
try.
later, Strides.
Take care.
See you later. And with that, folks,
Allergies are kicking my ass.
Yeah,
We
sure,
will-
sure, sure.
we will catch you all on Saturday. Thank you very much. Now return you to your regularly scheduled programming.